Some of you may have figured out we're not home yet. We're only halfway there. Mother's intercepted a transmission of unknown origin. You got us up to check it out.
Alien life form. Wait a minute, this movement.
Oh, we gotta get it off him.
Get out of the way!
In space, no one can hear you scream. On YouTube, no one cares if you scream.
Ooh, well, I mean, depends, man. Depends. You can
Well,
scream.
Yeah, sometimes if you scream about the right thing.
Yeah, man. Ladies and gentlemen, well, Dark Hour, this is your channel, man. You do the intro, dude.
I mean, it's hello everybody. As you can see, I'm not on camera right now. No one wanted to be on camera today, so I wasn't going to do it by myself.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on camera every single time we do two hosts, ladies and gentlemen. It's just, that's just how it is.
That's how he looks right there.
Yeah, dude. This is literally what I look like in real life. Can you imagine that?
I've seen him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, hi to everyone in the chat.
Everybody in the chat.
Hey, Babowski. Ooh, nice. Ka-chow. Gord King, we're on an express elevator to hell going down. Yeah.
Mm.
We must go on. We have to go on. In space, no one can hear you. Meow. There it is.
But yeah, I mean, this is one I've been looking forward to for a while. When this one's actually been moved around a few times on the schedule. We've changed the panel a few times. So yeah, let's. I think we should probably bring in our returning guest first. We will eventually have Little Platoon on. He's running a little late due to other more important things. So
yeah. Spoiler alert, dude. Yeah, you know. All right.
But for now, we're going to bring in our first guest, returning to Two Hoes, the land of the hose, Antiderivative Jill, our resident sci-fi specialist.
Hi, I like griping.
How you doing, Jill?
Wonderful.
Thank you for coming on again for Alien. We love to have you. You're great.
Well, yes, I really enjoy.
What was the last thing we had you on for? Was Starship Troopers?
Starship Troopers.
Yeah, that's right. Starship Troopers.
Yeah, because I try to get people on for their like specialties, and there's a lot of people who are good with sci-fi, but that's like your thing. So
that is what I appreciate most about this movie.
Oh,
so we definitely needed to have what with the style of movie and the fact that Ripley, being the final girl is so important. I wanted to have a little estrogen on the panel today, so we had to definitely get you on. And our next guest is a first timer, and usually guests they like to stay on topic, but other times certain guests, like our next guy, well, some tangents are just guaranteed, and that is Kritosis.
Hello.
What is up? How you doing?
I am sick. I feel terrible.
It's okay. I'm not sick and I feel terrible, so you're fine.
Yeah, dude, don't worry.
It's good to have you on, buddy.
Thank you.
Yeah, we I recently had reached out to Kritosis. We were talking. They're both in the EFAP Discord server, and I was like, we got to get you on. What ones of these movies you like? And he was like, Alien. I was like, well, guess what? You're on.
Yeah, dude, it's a pleasure streaming with you again. Last time we streamed together was on True Pop Culture 7's channel, actually.
Who was in the chat, might I add?
Yeah, he's there.
Hello there,
General Kenobi, of course.
Whenever Platoon pops along, we'll get him in. But how you doing, Kritosis? Besides being sick.
All right, for the most part. I literally just watched a movie again right before the stream.
Nice. So it's going to be fresh.
We'll get
in the
into
memory.
that really soon. Either the most recent or the first time you remember watching it.
Yeah, man. Well, hello to everyone in the chat. Dark Hour, you already have a super chat, which
I will
cover from Common People.
Common People, who's been in my chat a lot lately for my Resident Evil Let's Plays for 10. Is that the Euro symbol?
Dude, that's the pound.
Pound
What?
symbol. I don't know. I'm American. We only deal with real money over here. I'm the champion. I'm watching the Champions League final, you nerds. Well,
Aww.
who's in it?
Listen.
Who's in it this year?
Yeah, dude, who's in the Champions League final? Is this league, for the champions only, or?
Well, it is. It's
I am a nerd. I'm not supposed to know this, of course. But yeah, man. Hi to everyone in the chat. Hey. Aliens is great, but Alien is better. Oh, I guess it's time to start up a poll, Dark Hour. Aliens or Alien? There you go. And I did start some messages. Angry Batman. Hey, Angry Batman. Uninspired. Any relation to Ripley's cat, which is Jonesy? Yes, he's a distant cousin of mine, basically. They hired him for the gig. He was really, really happy at the time. Sadly, I think he has passed away at this point because, let's face it, the movie was in 79.
Yeah, most cats don't live that long. So,
yep. Listen, man, I have like 2 years left to live. So, that's all you're getting from me on YouTube at this point.
Let's start up this poll. I guess while I'm doing that, you can I guess start the round table of
yeah, of course. So to you guys on the panel, when was the first time or your first memory of watching Alien, and what did you think about it? So ladies first, I'll give it to you, Jill.
Sure, about 15 years ago, I suppose, was when I first watched it, and I don't know, I loved whenever I'm actually not a big horror fan, but whenever I end up loving a horror movie, it usually has to do with sci-fi and psychological horror. So my other favorite horror sci-fi is Cube.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it gives you that trapped feeling where you're in this one space, and that's what Alien also does. It also makes you feel trapped, and it makes you feel tense, and I never got to see it in the movie theater, so obviously 15 years ago was not 1979. But
if you just they might have another one soon, another re-show. I got to see it a few years ago in theaters for the first time for the 40th anniversary. So when the 50th anniversary comes around, you might get a chance to.
But there it is. Thank you.
Oh, nice. And I mean, it's interesting. Are you a fan of Pandorum? I don't know if you've seen that movie or not.
I haven't. Is it a similar kind of structure?
It's the sci-fi horror movie. It's with Dennis Quaid actually, and I forget the other dude, but it's just people that wake up on a spaceship.
Cam Jagondit.
What?
Cam Jagondit, isn't he in Pandorum?
What the fuck, dude? That doesn't even sound like a name.
I'm pretty certain he's in it. Let me look that up. I think it's Cam Jagondit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It is him. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, it's a sci-fi horror, kind of in the same vein as Alien, but it's more psychological as well. So I think that you would like it. It's fairly recent. It's from 2009.
Well, it's on my list now. I have quite a list.
Oh, you should check it out. Yeah. And of course, thank you again for coming on the panel. Now, Kritosis, what about you, man? When was the first time that you saw Alien? What did you think about it? Let us know.
So for me, Alien was one of those movies where I only saw bits and pieces of it for a long time, enough to like construct the general beats in my head. But I hadn't seen the full thing until 5 or 6 years ago now. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. As Jill said, the feeling of being trapped somewhere with this creature, I love it.
Oh yeah. I just think the Alien is kind of like it's interesting because Alien is one of those movies where you have the horror elements that were there even before a lot of the horror tropes started to pop up in the 80s. So in 79, it's interesting to see how Ridley Scott, who was mainly trying to make a sci-fi movie, ended up giving a tiny template of horror. For those of you in the chat and on the panel, I'm a huge horror fan. I'm a huge horror buff as well. I just watch everything horror. So it was interesting to see all the different elements that he brought to make Alien what it is. And I just think it's very interesting that we'll break it down, of course. Dark Hour, what about you, my man?
So I actually saw them backwards. I saw Aliens first and then saw Alien later, which I don't actually think necessarily hurts your experience.
You should have watched
because
Prometheus first, man. That's how
yes,
you
I
do
should
it.
have. I should have made sure to when I was, a teenager before Prometheus came out to go make sure to watch that first. I don't know how old I was when I finally watched the original Alien, but I remember thinking to myself, it has a similar kind of different feel between like Terminator and Terminator 2, where the first one is definitely has the more horror elements with a bit of action, whereas the second film is more action with a bit of horror.
Mhm.
And I love that about both of those series, but I think it's done a little bit better even in Alien.
Mhm.
That you have that real tense feeling right from the beginning, the long tracking shots, the creepy music, the general, and even when it's not music, it's that dead silence that you have in certain scenes. Is really awesome feel. I've always Platoon is here, so we can get him in, but I've always loved, and I'll say it more a little bit later, the way that the they created a futuristic look based on the technology of the time.
Mhm.
And it was like this kind of almost analog kind of stuff that was going on, and they kept that as they went along through all the series. They always kept that. I always thought that was really cool.
Dude,
And
that's probably the best type of future that we can have. Like, I legitimately think that having analog technology in the future mixed with like futuristic technology is the best way to go.
Mhm. And
So
I
interesting.
just always liked the aesthetic of the
Mhm.
of Alien. Until like later on when they released the later prequels and stuff, they kind of got rid of that aesthetic. But the first one, Aliens 3, and even what is it, Resurrection, still had that
Oh,
pseudo
dude, I
typewriter
forgot about
analog stuff.
Resurrection.
But we do have another guest. It is the returning Dark Lord, Little Platoon.
Hello.
Hey,
What's up,
Platoon.
Platoon?
How is everyone?
I'm doing good, and you, man?
Yeah. Busy as always, but all good.
This is the first time I think I've heard you not sick in a while, it sounds like.
Getting there. Just give me another few hours. I'll be fine.
Dude. Well, I mean, you're in the thick of it now. So, Platoon, when was the first time that you saw Alien, and what did you think about it?
I genuinely do not know when I first saw Alien. Actually, no, I actually have no clue, no idea. But always liked it. No, not just for partly for the reasons that just Dark Hour just laid out. Like, there's something about it's that era of sort of practical aesthetics, that sort of future. It's so clearly reliant on what people in the 70s and the 80s thought the future would be, like all these massive chunky buttons and like stuff you can actually press, which is just nice and lovely. And then it's not glass, it's not touch screens. There's something, just really, really satisfying about the entire aesthetic. All very well, married to the atmosphere of the place and the way it's building up. The fact that all of the characters are fundamentally normal people. They're not prissy teenagers. They don't look perfect. They look like the kind of workman-like figures you'd expect to see on effectively a giant industrial space mine. It just makes the entire thing riveting from start to finish. So yeah, always liked it. I think probably Aliens just about edges it in terms of which I prefer. But that might just be a recency bias. I might change my mind at some point during this stream.
Angry Batman loves this sound. That sound right there. If you can all hear that.
What fucking sound was that, dude?
That was my
Sound of
keyboard.
silence. The sound of
Oh, you
silence.
didn't hear that? Oh,
Lovely.
it didn't pick up my keyboard? Okay.
No.
Okay.
I was
My
like, what the
microphone
fuck?
might be a little too far away from it.
All right. Well, I guess that just leaves me. So we did have some new people in the chat. So hey, Barbara, hope you're doing well. Tom has some thoughts. Hey, Tom, hope you're doing well as well. Of course, it's not touchscreens. You need to use very old tech so they can fix things if it breaks a bazillion miles from home.
Let's try it.
Yep.
Let me hold the keyboard
true.
right up next to it. Hold on.
There we go. We
That
heard
sound
it a
better?
bit,
Okay,
a bit.
I guess
And hey,
I guess these pop filters really work well. I just changed these out relatively recently. I guess they're work because used to pick up a lot of my keyboard more. But,
yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Hey, Brooks, man, how you doing? Hope you've been doing good, dude.
Brooksy.
It's been a while, man. And yeah, so just before I give my thoughts, our RTNZ for $5 New Zealand dollars. Thank you, Dark Hour. You take this one.
Yeah, sure. My father saw this in '79. He told me the whole audience jumped during the dinner scene. So did the people in the dinner scene. Not all of Ridley's films are great, but this one is. Cheers.
Oh yeah, thanks so much,
Thank
RT
you,
and Zed.
thank you, my friend.
I hear there were lots of people in the very first premiere of this movie that were throwing up and leaving the film.
Oh god,
There's a lot
Yeah.
of little cool things, maybe not throwing up, but a lot of little cool things they did in the movie that as they come up, I'll bring them up, that just gave it that feel.
Well, it's interesting to see how kind of desensitized that we've become as a population in general, in terms of how
I've had this mechanical keyboard for 12 years, okay? It's just a really good keyboard.
It's how desensitized we've kind of become to stuff like this, because you look at the theater reactions from The Exorcist when it first came out, and then you watch The Exorcist today. Even a kid watches The Exorcist today, he just kind of laughs at it. Same with Alien. You show a kid the face hugger or the chestburster scene, they'll just look at it and be like, "Oh, that's awesome!" Like that's pretty much it. It's all right.
The chestburster has become such a staple to the film zeitgeist that it's almost like just being born and watching your first movie. It's like automatic common knowledge. They even make fun of it in a lot of movies. So
that's true. Yeah, it does get a lot of references. Just before we dive in, all right. So my first experience with Alien was a couple of years ago, actually. Kind of watched it on and off when I was a kid. My dad didn't like to let me watch movies like that, even though I tried to watch Scream a lot as a kid, which I don't know, man. Yeah, I like the film. I really did enjoy it. I do think it's one of Ridley Scott's best in terms of pure direction, because he does manage to nail tone, and I think it's great. I've only ever seen the director's cut, which we'll discuss about. Yeah, it is Smilex. And yeah, I just think that it's great. I am a bigger fan of Aliens just because of the rewatchability factor. I think the Aliens you can watch at any time, whereas Alien you have to really be in a mood to kind of watch it.
Alien
I am a fan of
is
Alien
better
3.
in dark, by the way. Alien is like way better in the dark.
Yeah,
Aliens you can just watch
in the dark.
Yeah, like Aliens you could watch in like, the middle of an open field. Like, this is awesome. Like
the middle of an open field. Yeah, I think the Alien 3 is kind of good. Alien Resurrection, we just don't talk about that. I don't even know what the fuck that was.
I did put Alien 3 on the poll just to see if anybody even picks that one.
Nice. And then all the other stuff that Ridley Scott has done, like post 2007, 2008, it's kind of just dog shit. So I won't even rate that. And yeah, man, I mean, I guess it's time to hop into the movie. So, ladies and gentlemen, to host number 24, it's Alien with the Nostromo crew, which is our crew, basically. And 20th Century Fox, a logo that we'll probably never see again, sadly.
This is the old one, too.
Yeah, where the O is kind of stretched out weirdly. It's
Yeah,
kind of like
the
an
O is
oval.
stretched out, and it's kind of like a matte painting almost.
Mm-hmm. Do you think they'll ever reuse 20th Century Fox? Because Disney's still releasing some of them, but they still keep the logo on them.
Yeah, I think Disney will eventually just shut down the entire studio, but for now they might want to keep it just because it's still somehow still has a better reputation than them, so they can at least pretend like it's not them.
Maybe, yeah, that's true.
Anybody else think that they're gonna keep it, or just really awesome?
Everybody loves it, so why wouldn't they keep something cool?
That's true. All right, so we start the movie with a Ridley Scott film. What I do like is how it sets the tone pretty much there with the opening credits. Well, yeah, it's very creative, especially even for 79. I think it's creative the way they just sets the tone. It's very Argento-esque, Dario Argento, with the color palette, of course, and I mean, it just emphasizes the vastness and loneliness of space. What do you guys think about the title sequence, especially since that's what the movie just opens with directly?
Let's go Platoon first.
Yeah, no, I agree with pretty much what was just said. It's the lettering sort of fade in always sort of struck me as quite an innovative approach to a title slate. Don't mind that at all. Even if you do sort of guess what the title is before it's fully formed. So okay, I've got the point now, but it still looks cool. Jerry Goldsmith, great soundtrack. I believe I'm right in saying that they actually pinched some music that he did for a different film for this film. I think he'd scored a film about Sigmund Freud, and the studio at some point thought, well, that sounds better than what you did for this bit, so we're gonna have that, and we're not gonna tell you. I might be making that up, but I think it's correct. Yeah, and then the Nostromo is just it's so very 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 distinctive. It's not quite like any other sort of science fiction design work that you see. It's almost more Thunderbirdsy or like old, what's his name who did Thunderbirds? My brain is fried.
I can look it up for you.
I can look it up too.
Anyway, yeah, no, it's good. It's good, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, I don't want
Jerry
the.
Anderson.
That's the one.
I was like, I don't want the Air Force Thunderbirds.
Yeah, no, not that.
What about you guys, Jill and Kritosis? What do you guys think about the opening or the Nostromo in general, the ship's design?
Go
Go
for
ahead.
it. You will go first.
Sorry. Yeah, I love the like unusual design of the ship. It's very industrial looking, and like Platoon said, it's not like most other ship designs in sci-fi. It looks great.
Yeah, it's not sleek. It's very much like almost like flying buildings. That's the best way I could put it.
Flying buildings, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a flying. It looks like a flying factory when you first see it.
Well, what makes it so wonderful is that Ron Cobb is really into science fiction himself, and so he doesn't just think of himself as a designer, but as like an engineer. And so he actually cares about, whether or not you hear sound in space or what the gravity, how gravity is affected by being in space and everything like that. And so he pushes himself to design a spacecraft as though it's really real, and I feel that.
Yeah, I just think that it's the design itself, it resonates a lot. But what do you guys think about the fact that it has like a crew of 7 for a commercial towing vehicle in space?
That's probably the most unrealistic aspect of this movie, is that something this large could be handled by 7 people. Now, here's the thing is, I've always been under the impression that the actual towing part is something that they don't really deal much with. Because they're essentially in the cab towing this, what I feel is like the trailer of their space, expedition. So whoever set this stuff up was probably on the other end on the mining section, and they're pretty much just the crew to deal with the tugboat, so to say.
Yeah,
they're truckers in space.
Yeah, truckers in space. Yeah, that's basically it. And of course, there it is, the clickety-clack keyboard with the Nostromo waking up. And it's Mother waking up the crew, ladies and gentlemen. Mother, who is actually credited, the voices by Helen Horton. I think you only hear her right near the end when she's talking about the self-destruct sequence, pretty much. And there they are, ladies and gentlemen. Our crew of the Nostromo, the 7 strong. And Jonesy, of course. You shouldn't forget about Jonesy.
So 8 strong. The cat is always part of the crew.
Yeah, dude, the cat never dies. That's what I'm saying. I told you, it's my distant cousin. It's a distant relative, dude. I do like the way that it opens to kind of this, soothing music, which is just one of the first things where Jerry Goldsmith's score really, really shines. I think that the score for this movie is phenomenal, especially on the opening and on the ending scene. The last scene, I think, is really fantastic. But
I agree with
design,
dude. Here. The ambient noise, like like all the random little tidbits they have, the beak dipping swan thing that they have. I don't even know what those are called. All the little details of just like they were living in this ship, and then they go and they do this hyperstasis situation, and they basically that thing right there. And they basically have to leave it as is, and then when they wake up, it's all just kind of still there. But like, there's one part where things are just still falling over because I guess they're still experiencing turbulence, even though that doesn't make much sense. But so like, yeah, like right there, with the helmet like falls over. It's kind of creepy too, the way everything is just
empty.
Empty, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, this is supposed to be read as a sterile kind of birth.
Yeah, I could see that, especially with Ridley writing and directing this. He was probably thinking about that too. I just a cocoon, the butterflies coming out of the cocoon, basically.
Jedi Brooks, spoilers, bro, spoilers. Nobody's seen this movie ever. We'll get to that. Don't worry.
They also do foreshadow him in this scene where they say he looks dead. So
Yeah.
there it is, And yeah, of course, we basically just meet the crew of the Nostromo eating breakfast, and there he is, Jonesy, on the left. So Ellen Ripley, who I think is the only person in the the only actual character that has a last name, which is interesting. Is it right? Or am I wrong?
I'm sure they all have last names like in the lore, but I don't think they ever actually say any of their last names in the movie. No.
And then after that, so we have Ellen Ripley. Then we have, I think this is Brett, who is on the right over there. Then Dallas, who's the captain, and right next to him, Lambert, played by Veronica Cartwright. And I don't even know what they're eating. I think it's like cereal or something. And of course, Yaphet
I don't want to know what it is.
Yeah, Lambert.
Yeah, they
First,
actually. This was one of those weird details that's like kind of recently surfaced. That in Aliens, if you look closely at her profile, it says that she was transitioned from. It was some. I forget the exact way that they do it, but for like unknown reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not something. At first, I thought it was something that was added. Like, you always see people are trying to AI make you think things are there when they really weren't. But no, it was actually in the movie. It's just one of those weird things they just didn't mention, and then someone noticed it one day.
So what you're telling me is the alien is woke. Is that what
yes,
it's a very woke film.
Oh my god!
Diversity in itself isn't woke. It's just it's just there. We never knew it. The simple fact that we never knew about it meant that it was just a fact, and it doesn't have any effect on the story. So
exactly.
Yeah, it's actually the way that of all the I don't want to say shoehorned, because it really wasn't even shoehorned, but like all the like random inclusions of that kind of stuff I've ever seen, it was probably the most well done, because it's just done in the background as if it's normal. It's just like, as if it's just they don't try to make it out to be anything more than it is. It's just a normal thing for them.
Yep, see something you have to discover like 40 years later on Twitter, basically. Yeah. That's pretty much it. So right now on screen we have Parker on the left, and then in the middle is Kane, who is probably going to die a horrible death, I presume, of course. Maybe. I could be wrong. And Ash over there as well. Ash's face is very memeable in this picture. I should probably meme something out of this. And so what they're discussing right now is Brett and Parker, who kind of work in, I guess it's engineering, right? Or mechanic or maintenance.
Yeah, they're like the mechanics. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
They also have a Scotty moment. In a little while. I'll bring it up when you get to it.
No, Pete. So they're trying to discuss the bonus share distribution, because everyone gets paid more than them, apparently, which I think is kind of sad, because these dudes are literally the reason why your ship is kind of running. So too bad for them.
Well, I would say that it's very they're very the blue collar workers of the of this, whereas a lot of the other people are scientists. They have the science officer, and then Kane and Dallas are both like captain level of. They're pilots, so they've been their skills would be seen as more important, even though the most important guys on there are the guys that are keeping it all together.
A thousand trades unionists have just cried out in fear and anger at what you've just said.
I know. Trust me. I agree with that, but it's
good though, because what it does is it embeds in a really diegetic reason for them not always being on the best terms of each other. So like it's always vital in any sort of work of psychological horror that you breed a sense of distrust. Even when it's all like your entire crew against a single alien, it tends to be seen as boring after the 1950s to have everyone getting on with each other all of the time. So they've built in a very good, believable reason that sort of adds into the world lore for many of these characters not actually liking each other very much. And you get it adds more to their characters and their interactions, but it also explains why they are much more prone to shout at each other under stress and pressure than you might expect, given that, if they were all friends, why would they be shouting? It's a big difference between the way that we used to write characters like this and the way that we do now. And actually Alien as a franchise is a really good way of demonstrating that, because you go forward to something like Prometheus, when everyone hates each other and shouts at each other for absolutely no reason, because they don't have a character, because none of them actually belong there, because none of them have been built into the story, and there's no actual interactions that really justify the behaviors they display toward each other. They're just shallow, superficial. We need this guy to be dumb and angry in order for the scene to work, as opposed to because it's the extension of his character. It's remarkable. It's written by the same person, really, but there we are.
Yeah,
Not only that, you never really get the sense that, I mean, Brett maybe more so because he's kind of just a yes man, but Parker definitely has a good head on his shoulders. Several times he's the person that suggests the thing that everybody would be like, yeah, we should do that.
Yeah, why don't you freeze them? Why don't you freeze them? It's like, yeah, dude, let's fucking freeze the dude. That's what I would do.
Yeah, he's definitely like the common sense character.
Well, but that's why Brett always says right, because he does have common sense, so he's not just a parrot.
Yep.
I think this comment pretty much sums it up. Proper ensemble work.
Yeah,
everybody's playing a believable character here.
It's also the fact that they really emphasize on their situation several times, because they don't have to show Brett and Parker alone when they're discussing about stuff, but they still do it several times, and then after they do it again when they're talking with when they're speaking with Ripley, of course, and having some banter with her as well. It's like it's not just one and done. Yeah, you're right, Brooks. If they listened to Parker, everyone would have made it home. That's true.
Well, that's one aspect of this that is director's cut versus theatrical cut, is that the director's cut definitely has it more of like a more happy, crazy random happenstance they came across this stuff, whereas the theatrical cut is more of a nefarious corporate espionage, corporate like sabotage kind of thing. Like, oh, we're just gonna feed these guys to the wolves. It's one of the few differences between the two.
Yeah, dude. Fuck the Weyland-Yutani Corporation. All my homies hate the Weyland-Yutani Corporation. That's pretty much it. And of course, speaking of blue collars, there we go. Blue Collar Loser for $5. Love being a dad, seeing this in theaters with my son a few months ago. Hey, nice. Says a lot. Him at 17 liking a 40-year-old film. That's because you raised him right, dude. Also, you'll forever support theaters. Yep. Also, why I'll forever support theaters, dude.
Yeah, that's if theaters stay alive.
Nah, don't worry, man. They're gonna stay alive for sure. And then, of course, Dark Hour. This one is for you.
Oh yes, Angry Batman for 20 American real money dollars with a real money dollar logo. Can't stay for the whole stream, but absolutely love this movie. Can't wait for my kid to be old enough to be terrified by it. Just show it to them now. 3 years old doesn't matter. I mean,
yeah, dude.
I mean, enjoy it. He's only 3, but I have to wait a little while. No, just show it to him. Terrify him now.
Yeah, dude, scare the shit out of him. Like, listen, it'll form his character, dude. There it is. He'll become a better man.
He'll just be sitting in all black in the back of the classroom, like, you don't even know what's out there in space, guys. You don't even get it.
Yeah, dude, he actually might terrify
in preschool. He'll be like that. Just
yeah. So of course,
daughter joined me when she was 3 years old at the end of Alien. She watched the last 30 minutes of it with me, and I guess she wasn't upset or scared of it at all.
I would argue that it's actually probably harder for a kid to get scared of the original Alien, because it's not as much. There's only really like one jump scare. It's more of like the thought process of things that would only make sense to an adult. Like to a kid, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, just go over there and just."
Well, I think a kid would actually get bored with Alien, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
all the establishing shots and all that shit. They'd fall asleep, dude.
Which is one of the reasons why I think Aliens, by adding Newt, and I obviously don't want to talk too much about Aliens, but adding the aspect of how a child would deal with the situation. Whereas like us as adults, we look at this and, like I said, even the beginning of just that quietness and knowing like they're asleep over in the pods, and it's really like anything could be going on in this giant ship that they're on, and they have no idea. And that's actually kind of a creepy thought.
Yeah, and Angry Batman, you're welcome, dude. You're welcome. Let us know how it goes on the next two hosts, dude. And yeah, I actually think the Aliens would be scarier for a kid, just because of how much there is on screen, how many xenomorphs are there as well. I think they'd be terrified in comparison to the first movie. So what happens in the movie is the mother calls in Dallas, which this just looks fucking cool, dude. I won't even lie. The wherever mother is, it just looks fantastic. Set design is incredible with all the lights. And so mother just calls in Dallas to give him some information, which we don't find out. Well, yeah, we actually do find out just in a few minutes, of course. And so this is how he speaks with Mother. So interface 2037, ready for inquiry. What's the story, Mother? Yeah, living inside a disco ball. Of course, dude. And so at this point, Ripley, Kane, and Lambert, they sort of discover that they're not an Earth system. And since they're the navigation guys, yeah, that's pretty much it. And also, we do learn that Ripley is basically second in command if Dallas.
Third.
Well, yeah, second in command if Dallas and Kane aren't there. So yeah, third.
Yeah, so the hierarchy goes: Dallas is the captain, Kane. I'm not really exactly sure what his title is, but I guess he's the lead pilot or the lead navigator. Then Ripley, then science officer underneath that, which would be Ash, and then everybody. I guess everybody else is just kind of even underneath there.
Yep, probably. And then of course, yeah, this is a better look at the Nostromo dragging some huge balls. I see. Yeah, I mean, it's just such a unique looking ship that even to this day, you don't really see many Nostromo looking ships in space films. Which is interesting because I would have thought that they would have tried to copy, at least at minimum, kind of that way. What?
Yeah, the refinery aspect of it definitely makes it unique.
Mm-hmm. And it looks huge. The scales for the miniature.
Princess Fiona with yet another new profile picture coming in.
Hi, Fiona.
Yeah, Ripley is the warrant officer. Yeah, that's what it is. And Lambert is the pilot.
Yeah, I just love the scale of the miniatures that they made for Alien. Really back at a time where practical was king, basically, and Alien does still hold up to this day. I think the only shots that don't hold up, I don't know if they're in the theatrical cut, but in the director's cut, I think that it's during the landing sequence. You can just see that it's rear projection, pretty much.
They clean it up a little bit in the director's cut, but it's pretty much the same. The difference between the theatrical cut and the director's cut, for the most part, is the one scene that I said that we'll talk about later, and they pretty much just trimmed the longer tracking shots, cut some lines, and re-angled some alternate takes. The director's cut is actually a minute or 2 minutes shorter than the theatrical cut, which is very rare. Usually director's cuts are anywhere from like 5 to 20 minutes longer than the
dude, just look at the director's cut of Kingdom of Heaven. Yeah. Same dude.
But yeah, it's actually one. It's a true, like, we're gonna use a lot of efficiency and trying to make this a little bit more streamlined. And it's one of the few director's cuts to ever be released to theaters as a re-release. And very rarely does that happen too.
Yeah, and once again, just emphasizing what Platoon said before, Brett and Parker. We get a shot of them walking and discussing the pay again, which is just like, yeah, dude, give these guys what they're worth.
We haven't heard from Kurtosis in a while, and he just unmuted his mic, so I'm guessing he has something he wants to add.
It was just about how some of the shots didn't age quite well. There's one scene towards the end, not intending to skip ahead, but
you can skip around a little bit.
Not Ripley. What's the other girl's name?
Lambert.
It's right before she's about to die, or actually before Parker is about to die, because the alien turns on him before going to her. There's a point where the alien is kind of moving forward.
That's on purpose because Dallas is trying to get in between.
No, you mean Parker.
Well,
Parker. Yeah, that's what I meant to say, Parker. Yes.
What I was referring to, though, is there's a moment where the alien is kind of moving forward, and it kind of looks like a prop being pushed along on like wheels or something.
Yeah, I know exactly which. We'll get to that. Yeah. I know. For Lord Toxic here, second in command after the first two, so the third. Yes.
Listen, I'm sorry, Lord Toxic. I'm French, dude. Listen, we kind of have some. We're kind of slow sometimes. All right. Dark, yeah, all right. Yeah, dude, and just once again to compliment the interiors, I love how the light shines through. I think lighting in general in this movie is good, apart from one specific scene, which I do have the still of, where it's just completely black, you can't see anyone, and it's just like, I don't know. I just think it's bad lighting in general. Now, of course, Dallas is finally relaying to the crew what Mother told him, and basically, Mother intercepted a transmission of unknown origin. And they're obligated to check it out. And of course, Brett and Parker aren't really happy with that because who the fuck would be happy, to be honest?
They're
You
also
just
like,
want
we
to go
ain't, we
home.
ain't getting paid enough for this shit.
Exactly. And then
I want to ask everybody here though: has there ever been a transmission of known origin in any sci-fi movie ever? I don't think so. It seems like it's always a transmission of unknown origin.
I mean, mm,
It's never like a distress call from, oh, we know exactly who that's from. It's always a distress call from who the hell could possibly.
Yeah, it's the classic just mystery trope, isn't it? The
it's
unknown
either
distress
one or
signal sends you
unknown.
off on the journey.
Yeah,
There's that Rick and Morty episode though where they pick up a distress signal and Rick's really happy because 9 times out of 10 the ship's just dead and you get loads of free shit. So go get it.
Or if you do know who it is who's sending the distress call, you don't know why the message is scrambled or something. There has to be some element of unknown to make things dramatic.
yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, it could work. I still think the known origin, yeah, it's just a phone
If
call.
it's
that's
known origin, it's just a phone call. I
think
clarified a
it's
little bit. I meant a distress call. It's very whenever it's a distress call, it always seems to be of unknown origin. It's like 90% of the time.
And Adam Gray, even blocking is dead now thanks to green screens. I actually really agree. Yes, somehow the alien returned. Yeah, blocking. I do think the art of blocking is sort of dead. You just don't see really good staging and blocking anymore at all. I don't know if it's because of the green screen. I think it is a major factor, but I think that stuff that's filmed, let's say on the volume, as much as I'm not a big fan of the volume, depending on how it's used, I do think at least there you can do staging and blocking quite well. But in general, people just don't look at that anymore. By people, I mean directors. They just don't look at that anymore, which is kind of sad. Most of the time, it relies on the cinematographer nowadays. But
well, it's like remember when we did Boogie Nights? There's that one line when they switched to videotape, and he's like, "You just keep shooting and shooting and shooting, and we'll fix it later." That's kind of the way that they do it now. They just keep filming. We don't need to worry about it. It's not on film. It's digital. Just film 100 times if you need to. It'll cost money, but who cares? You know, it's like there's no limit to the amount of times that we can film and different angles and stuff.
Yep. Now, of course, Ash brings up the fact that Ash, who is a cyborg. That's what I'll call him.
Android.
Don't say an android. It's a cyborg, dude.
He's not a cyborg. He's not a cybernetic organism. He's an android. He's fully automated.
So,
cybernetic organism implies that there's organics within him. There's no.
Well, technically, he is a bit organic. Skin is organic, isn't it?
But that's not. It's like rubber. It melts away like rubber.
So I still got you.
It's not canon, but I think Ripley says that Ash is supposed to be like a replicant, which kind of looks organic a little bit, but I don't think he is. I think he's an android.
Okay, well,
I
already put up one poll, so I can't put
all
up.
All right. I lose. Okay, I lose. Thank you.
If the chat wants to argue amongst themselves, cyborg or android.
So,
I like Adam Gray's answer.
What is
He's yogurt paste.
Yeah, dude. The first vegan. That was it. So he basically says that they're forced to go and intercept. If not, they forfeit their pay. And so Brett and Parker just say, all right, fuck it. You know, we want to get paid anyways. And just another cool shot of the Nostromo with its massive balls. And I just love how space looks in this movie, man. They really managed to emphasize on how scary space actually is. I wish Andrew was in the chat to tell us why he hates space so much. But yeah, I just think it really emphasizes the in space no one can hear you scream, because at every turn they really like to show you the dead silence of space and how, I think it's because of the color palette, they kind of show you how cold it is outside, which you don't really see in stuff like Star Wars, even in the 77 original. You know what I mean?
No,
yeah. Again, there it is. The mini. What is this? The shuttle? Yeah, the shuttle.
The shuttle has a name too. I just can't remember it off the top of my head. But the actual shuttle has a. I'll look it up. Hold on.
The Nostromo Junior, I guess. Yeah, Baby Stromo, possibly. So of course you have the shuttle, and they're preparing to go for a landing, and that's what they do. And they land on the planet where the beacon has come from, and shit goes instantly.
It's the Narcissus.
Narcissus.
What?
Yeah.
Narcissus. Yeah.
Oh,
That tells you what how Wayland Yutani sees its employees.
Well, I also
Nurses.
think because like the shuttle also can only they later on explain that like if they need to save people with it, you can't save like 3 or 4 people. You can really only do like 1 or 2. So yeah, there would be some narcissism there because you have to pick your friend. Like, oh, who do I want to go with?
Draw
Yep.
straws.
Melvin, you're only here for 12 minutes, so I'll read your super chat now. Melvin for £5. Thank you, Melvin. I love both, but Alien is superior to Aliens by quite a way. Yeah, I think objectively, I think Alien has a lot more to offer than Aliens, even though I am a fan of Aliens. There's a lot of logic issues with Aliens' story, plus Cameron stole Scott's ending. Did he? I don't know. I'm not too familiar. Maybe. I'm not too sure. But thank you, Melvin. Of course, they land in Narcissus, and shit goes foobar because there's a hull breach, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's because they landed on a fucking rock. That was it. Like, there was a pebble.
But it's sort of it emphasizes the danger of the mission they're on, though, and it's one of the other reasons they're reluctant to go on these unnecessary hunts for distress signals. Is that space is actually a dangerous place. It's not a simple matter of landing on another planet because the descent through the atmosphere is going to be tricky. That you can't retrofit, so you can't mass produce a spaceship that can easily deal with every atmosphere you'll ever encounter. And so they go for quite a heavy, realistic landing sequence. So the landing sequence is great. I think it really speaks to Ridley Scott's attention to detail, but also it does a huge amount to establish the hard realism of the science fiction universe he's setting up. Nothing is easy. You can't just pop down to a planet and then pop back up, which is what he seems to think you can do in Prometheus.
Right.
So it's good.
And you don't just get an alien world that just happens to be like Earth. You get a very alien.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because he kind of did a good landing sequence. I think it was with Alien Covenant, was it? Yes, I think it was Alien Covenant.
That's the one I haven't watched because I just was at that.
I have seen it. I
Danny
just
McBride.
blitzed it all from my brain because that, yeah. I just remember the broad daylight fight of the alien on the outside of a ship that's flying around and she hits it with a. Oh God, no, it's coming down. Oh.
Sorry. I do like that they do it's a little bit from now, but they do an atmosphere test, and the way that Ash explains it is that it's very primordial. It's almost like it's Earth without its full atmosphere is essentially what he's saying. It's a lot of methane.
Yeah, he says it's primordial, deep cold, rock and lava based. And there it is.
Yeah,
that's what he says.
Without a spacesuit, it's instant death.
And there's even the little scene of like Ash. I don't know what the fuck he's doing, but when he puts on his shoes, he gives like a light jog for some reason. I
think that's taken out of the theatrical version.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's one of the ones they added. I think that was trimmed from the so like I said, most of it's the same. Sometimes it's just alternate angles or just like cutting specific lines to change the meaning of the scene. But sometimes they just took stuff out like that. That was just
And a super chat from Babowski for $5. Thank you, Babowski. The Abyss, one of James Cameron's more original film to be made, gives me inspiration to write a novel taking place underwater whenever I watch it. I am a big fan of The Abyss. I think The Abyss is a pretty cool movie. I've only ever seen the I think it's the director's cut or the extended version. I don't know what it is, but
yeah, that's.
I've only seen the long version of that movie. I do think it's quite interesting. I don't think it's one of James Cameron's like masterpiece.
Abyss was basically a huge tech demo. That's essentially what it was. It was to test the technology so that way they could eventually make Terminator 2.
Yeah,
that's basically what it was.
The liquid stuff, yeah. But I do think The Abyss is a great film.
That was The Abyss. So they released earlier this year. They released Aliens, Abyss, and True Lies all on 4K Blu-ray combo packs, and apparently there was some problem specifically with the Abyss ones where they couldn't produce enough, so people are still waiting on their pre-orders for that, and it's been months.
Oh wow, man, that kind of sucks. Yeah, Brooks, love The Abyss. Love the story of how it was made. Yeah, people were dying on set. Oh my God.
Dude. That's my all-time. That might be my all-time favorite Critical Drinker video. His production hell about The Abyss. It's probably
No, dude. Oh yeah, Melvin clarifying so the ending of Aliens is basically the ending from Alien. Ripley escapes Beastie before explosion. Beastie gets out too. Ripley blasted into space. Ripley goes to bed. Same ending. Yeah, but Ripley says, "Stay away from her, you bitch." It's like that's
Yeah,
kind of cool.
what's her big line at the end of this one? You're my lucky star. Like it does not have the same effect.
Well, I mean,
As
she does
get away
say
from her, you bitch.
she does say like, "I got you,"
Mhm.
or "You're dead now, bitch." I have it clipped, so Melvin, I have it clipped. Don't worry. But she does say "bitch." She does call the alien a bitch.
So here's this is actually a good spot I think to talk about this, because they basically all kind of just decide they're gonna go, and at first Ripley says I think she's gonna go, but then they decide that it's gonna be the other, like it's gonna end up being no, and it's just immediately Kane, Lambert, and Dallas say they're gonna go. Who would volunteer for this? Would you actually volunteer
Fuck
to
yeah,
go out?
dude!
I think I would. I think
I
I
do
would.
this shit. You probably get like something named after you, anyways, so that would be pretty cool. Kritosis, what about you, man? Would you volunteer?
I'm split on that because you'd be discovering. Well, you don't necessarily know that it's going to be something never discovered before. It could just be like a normal human ship and not aliens. But hey, if you were to discover the first alien ship in space, it's like, oh my god. But at the same time, things might go wrong.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
Well, yeah.
if you go around touching weird shit, then yeah, some shit will probably go wrong.
Well, there's a specific reason I'm
Dallas-
asking this, is because I'm going to ask about like basically the same question on the return with the way that they handle the quarantine procedures. But I want everybody to say like this situation first, and then go ahead. Jim.
So Dallas is officially the captain, but we have to remember that Ash is the mouthpiece for the company, so he's the one controlling what everybody is doing, even when they're looking at the atmosphere. He's saying, when we do a walk around, we're going to have to do a walkabout. He's actually being the captain, and Dallas has a nervous laughter when Dallas asks picks the crew. Lambert isn't that excited.
Yeah, Lambert really isn't excited. Like, Lambert is really just hesitant. She doesn't want to go, which, I mean, I can't blame her. This is kind of, yeah, I mean, look at Adam, you put it there. First dibs on Newport, I'd go. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
But everybody thinks this is off mission, but this is the mission. But nobody knows that yet.
All right. See you, Melvin, man. Take care, dude. All right. I do love the design of the spacesuits. I think that it's pretty good. Pretty cool. The helmets, how big the helmets are, those are still pretty unique to this day. It's you don't really see anything that big anymore. Please don't take my words out of context. Anyone?
That's getting clipped. 100%. That's getting clipped. Yeah, Tyler, who likes to do like our clip shows. Yeah,
they don't make them as big as they
52 minutes.
used to.
52 minutes, Tyler.
Hey, James, how you doing, man? So of course we got Ripley out here doing her best Converse ad, which of course Converse still exists in the year, I guess 2100. And
I mean, Chuck Taylors are the most perfect organism in terms of their simplicity as a shoe. So
that's true, dude. I sell a lot at work, dude. You'd be surprised the amount of people who still buy them. Jesus,
I actually can't. I'm flat-footed, so I actually can't wear Chuck Taylors.
Yes, my Alexi, yes, I do. Now, of course, wait, let me go back to my notes. So yeah, of course, they do go and explore while Ripley's just looking at them, and yeah, they are the helmets, dude. Just look at how cool the fucking front lamp is. It's great. It doesn't illuminate shit, but it's great.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's just there so you can see the actors' faces.
That's true. They'd literally just be walking with like a light right in front of their eyes. That'd be so useless. And of course,
because like real space helmets have, for the most part, when you're out, it has like a shield over it that they don't open up for the clear. It's more like a gold bronze color that comes over it. So
that's kind of for the sun, I think, so that you don't damage.
It's for but they also mention that the star is going to be coming up soon, so they don't know what the intensity is going to be. So they probably would have actually had them up.
Oh, the suits in the movie underwater. Sorry, Platoon. Let me just read this real quick. The suits in the movie underwater are pretty cool. It's not space, but the resemblance is comparable. Yes, and if you haven't watched Underwater, please do so. I think it's a great, kind of Cthulhu movie. So yeah, go ahead, Platoon.
I was just going to point out how A, beautiful this shot is, and B, how much better it was when we didn't know exactly what the thing was and what was in it.
Yeah.
It's so much like mystery is a good thing. This entire opening mystery sequence is really, really compelling stuff. And it's such a shame that we now know.
Yeah, dude. Haven't you seen? This was it was a pregnant woman trying to run away from this, and it just fell on her.
Oh
Instead
my
of just
God.
running sideways, she ran straight. This is like incredible.
Well, this actually isn't the same one.
It is not the same one. It's a different one, which I actually thought they were going to tie them in directly together, and it might even have made more sense if they had, but I'm still glad they didn't. But yes, no, if one of these things is falling on you, the trick is to run sideways. We know that too.
And just the sheer sense of scale, of course, because let me just make this bigger. You can see the two lamps just at on the rock over there, just to show you the sense of scale of how much they've had to trek this whole way. And of course, you have Ash that's watching them in this beautiful shot as well.
And
there they are
on his futuristic CRT monitor.
Yeah, dude, this is the best of the best. And
they
they
do
are.
say it's 1,000. I think it was 2,000 meters. So right, so it's it's.
And there they are, just the two little lights in comparison to how big the spaceship is. I just really love the fact that they really emphasized on the sense of scale, which is just fantastic. It's something
they used a couple of tricks for that too, which is pretty cool. We have a couple of
they just built a huge set actually a lot of time. I have the BTS pictures at the end you'll see, but I do think the sense of scale is truly something that we're missing nowadays in films in general, especially monster movies. Platoon, you should know this with the Godzilla and Kong movies.
Don't fucking remind me. Yes.
This sense of scale is kind of dead nowadays, which I think is quite a shame. Which is still a big reason as to why I love Pacific Rim, ladies and gentlemen, because Guillermo del Toro knew how to do his shit. And
yes, scale is important, especially when you're trying to, show an immense size. It's not as big of a deal when you're trying to show something that's smaller, but when you're trying to show something of immense size and you can't get the scale right, it immediately takes a person out of the situation, like the mentally out of it.
I totally agree. And so, of course, they enter the ship and they find a weird alien carcass with its chest that was burst from the inside out.
This is actually what I was going to mention, but Smilex did it for me, so I'll give him the credit. The external long shots use kids in suits. Yeah, that's one of my favorite practical effects they used, and you can tell that it's kids because they just don't have the control of their motor functions as well as an adult would when they're climbing and stuff. It's actually, if you look closely, you can see it. But
and of course, at this point, Ripley is talking with Ash, and she thinks that it's kind of a warning not to go there, not an SOS, but Ash basically just presses to continue on, which, of course, at this point of the film, you're kind of just thinking, all right, Ash is the science officer. He kind of wants to see what's going on. Plus, they've already made the journey to go to the ship. So why would they just turn back now? But then you find out about his ulterior motives later on. And I do like the fact that almost every single time Ash is on the screen, they really kind of emphasize his ulterior motives. You just don't realize it until it's time. So on rewatch, I think it adds to that rewatchability factor. Which
on the first watch, you just think he's an explorer and he wants to learn everything possible, and he just seems to be fulfilling his role, and he seems to be on the side of the crew.
Yep.
And you start when you're already aware that he's an android, you get this sense of the way he talks is just a little off a lot of times. Like he always says, we're collating, which is something somebody might say, especially someone who lives in like a science officer. But when you think about what collating actually, it's actually he's essentially putting files in order and stuff. So you can take it as he's working as a computer. Like, when you
definitely not just by himself. He's saying we because he's working with Mother, so he sees Mother as a coworker.
And that heightens the paranoia and the tension and the sort of the mutual suspicion as well, because it's about the least helpful answer he could possibly give. So you know that he's withholding something. If you're just saying collating, that doesn't mean anything. I think Ripley at one point does complain that it doesn't mean anything to say that you're collating.
Oh yes, towards the end, she starts giving nervous laughters. Those are really worked very effectively in this movie.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree. I think that the fact that even the lighting on him in comparison to Ripley is kind of just like it's nice and cool, nice colors, and then on him it's just pure darkness. It's like
One thing I would like to point out too is that obviously as the movie goes on and people die or just become less prevalent in the scenes, I believe that she was actually that being Sigourney Weaver was like 3rd or 4th in the cast list, so she becomes the main character, and it's kind of a hidden detail. I think the first one, Tom Skerritt, is like the first one in the title, and then I think it's John Hurt after. And so she's either 3rd or 4th, which I like that they kind of don't give away early on who's going to be the most important character going forward.
Well, I mean, it's also what I was talking about in the intro when I was talking about horror tropes. Ripley is the final girl. Again, a trope taken from slashers, which most of the times whenever you do slasher films, you're not really sure of who the final girl is until, kind of like the very ends. Hello, the voices will not stop. And welcome. I hope the voices do stop one day. Probably.
Kurtosis, I saw that you had to pop away for a minute. Did you have anything you wanted to say about the stuff we were talking about?
Well, I was just gonna say, I was thinking pretty much the same thing when you had this frame up that like the way half his face is shadowed so you can't even see anything there is great.
It's very ominous.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all right.
Yeah, very symbolic of how
the cinematography for scenes is great. I'm sorry, Joe.
That's okay. No, it for me it's symbolic of how Weyland-Yutani keeps you in the dark.
Ooh, nice. Yeah. And of course, oh wait, just before we continue on, there's 2 super chats. So Hostman's Lounge, hey Hostman.
Yeah, I didn't know where to place these. I was just kind of waiting for an opening because they weren't really.
I still love how the pitch for this movie was just Jaws in space. Hail to the panel and chat, dude. Hail to you, man.
Bank of Hostman.
Yeah, dude. It's kind of like the way Piranha was just like, yeah, dude, give me a low budget Jaws.
I'll take the next one, I guess.
I love all the different influences that Ridley Scott drew from, like Dune and heavy metal.
It's weird because he drew a lot of inspirations from other things, but then created such an inspiration for future sci-fi horror that it was almost like a filter. He like filtered all these things into one style that would become pretty overused, I would say, be the term.
Well, and of course, the biggest one of all is, of course, Space Odyssey 2001.
We have one more super chat from Smilex, our otter friend. For that's now that I know that's not the euro symbol, that's the pound symbol, 5 pounds. Do you think Geiger had a "please destroy my hard drive with fire and chisels when I die" clause written into his will? Possibly.
Maybe. It is possible. Yeah, here's something from thank you, Smilex, and thank you, Hostman. Here's something from Fiona. So the early versions of the script had Ripley as a man. In fact, all the crew were men. The studio insisted on the changes.
I remember reading about that, yeah, and I like that they did that because it would have not necessarily the entire like lack of diversity thing. I just feel like the interactions, because of men and women on the crew, just makes it more fun. I guess it's like the crew
is
the diversity of the crew is part of the attraction of the ensemble. So
makes the arse crack shot toward the end much better as well, I think.
Yes,
There's a big contextual difference between a builder's arse crack and Ellen Ripley's, I think. So that's an improvement. More 4-quadrant appeal as well. You'll get more women interested in the story. But the Jaws comparison is really interesting. Well, actually, I was thinking about it as you were saying it, because it's structurally, in terms of the plot, it basically is the same movie. It begins with the mystery. You have the mysterious death. In this case, the mysterious death is the mysterious death of an alien, but same thing. Investigating cause of death. You don't see the actual monster until a good chunk into the movie. I think it's about 45 minutes in the case of Jaws, and it must be similar for this one. And then you're on a small little boat in the vast emptiness of the ocean of space, and so you're trying to fight off the monster once it's revealed itself. So it is structurally very, very similar in terms of the way the plot pans out.
Yeah, unless you count the face hugger as the monster, that would be considered early. But if you're just counting the main chestburster slash actual xenomorph, then yeah, it's significantly later.
Mm. Yeah, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, we are finally inside the ship, and it's slimy, very, very slimy, but still looks good. Please do not take my words out of context again, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, so I just really like how everything plays out on the ships. It's very, very slow. It's just them exploring. I do think that this is complete stupidity of trying to touch eggs that you randomly find on a random planet.
Well, he's
But
actually not trying to touch the eggs at first. He's like fascinated by the interaction of the
the floor.
the field above the
Mhm.
floor, and he slips. Then he's like, "Oh well, I'm down here anyway." You know. Might as
Yes,
well.
one of the worst falls in the cinema history, dude. I actually had to clip this, so I'll clip. So this is basically the entire sequence from when he falls till when he gets face hugged. So let me play the clip. Let me just look it up. All right, there we go.
There's a layer of mist just covering the eggs. Hey. Seems to have life. Organic life.
Yeah, dude. Shouldn't stick your hands in weird eggs, ladies and gentlemen. That's a life lesson for you. Oh,
Not a great first contact situation.
The ship's interior looking like it probably feels to touch the walls of a Walmart toilet stall. Probably. So one of the main differences here in the director's cut and the theatrical is he actually pulls out his pistol in the director's cut, whereas in the theatrical, it's way more of a he throws caution completely to the wind. He just goes up and touches it, which is stupid. These leathery looking weird eggs. And they also have a little bit longer of him like investigating it with his flashlight in the theatrical cut. They trimmed it down significantly for the director's cut.
all right. Yeah, I mean,
They trimmed it down by like 15 seconds of him standing there looking at it. So
I think the what do you guys think about the egg design and the ship design of the alien ship basically? Well, it's not really it's not the xenomorph ship, but
it's the space jockey ship, if you will.
Yeah,
they didn't
there
at
it
this point. They weren't called the what is it? What do they call them in Prometheus?
I mean, just the
Architects.
dudes
They weren't
that
yet.
drink the black tar. That's
Yeah.
that dude, right? Oh.
Yeah, but they weren't. That was a much later concept. The original concept art is that what you see, that like elephantine looking,
I see what you mean,
is that's actually the bones. So that was his actual skeleton.
Okay. So yeah, what do you guys think about the egg design, especially how it is? It's just
Is
nasty.
it
Well,
never explained
yeah,
how there are eggs on this ship
Yeah.
with no queen?
I don't think so.
Originally, that's how they explain it with the in the director's cut, the scene where Dallas is being turned into a egg is that it was supposed to be like a full cycle, self-fulfilling prophecy kind of situation. It wasn't until later with Aliens that they came up with the insect style of there's a queen and a nest and all that. So it's kind of a continuity error / plot hole that they ended up accidentally sort of fixing because of that.
Hmm.
I don't
this
know.
is basically where we start to see Geiger's work in terms it starts with the eggs here, and obviously the whole cave itself, all the design of it.
I do want to point out that he has one of the most comically silly falls in the history of.
Dude, that's what I told you. That's why I clipped the fall. I was like, "What the fucking fall is this?"
It's very Biden fall-esque, to say the least.
It's so like it's literally the stupidest fall I've ever seen in a movie. Legitimately. Oh my god, Smilex. Yeah, that's true. I mean, Listen, dude, you guys always get on me because I say I eat frog legs and snails. Like, those are actually good foods, dude. Dark Hour can attest to that, dude. Frog legs taste like chicken. I'm not
Frog
even
legs
gonna
are
lie.
pretty
I've
good.
tried frog legs. I do not like them.
I don't know if I'd try a
Aw.
xenomorph omelet though. I don't know if that's.
It could be interesting, actually. Yeah, dude. Depends who's cooking it, dude. So yeah, of course, shit goes foobar again, and at this point, you've got Dallas and Lambert that have returned to the ship with the Kane's body, who has been face hugged. At this point, we really don't see what's happened to Kane at all, which I really do appreciate. Until they've opened the doors and he's actually laying down on the bed, you don't see what's happened to him. It just adds that sense of mystery. And now, of course, Ripley is having a discussion with Dallas. They're basically fighting about the quarantine procedure because Dallas doesn't want to give any details as what happens to Kane. Which I don't know. Do you guys think that this is a
Stupid? Yes, it's really stupid. Everything they do here is stupid.
Yeah.
I've been waiting to talk about this scene. This is the dumbest shit ever. Like it makes sense from Ash's standpoint because he has orders, and also really even if something is to happen to him, he's not, his consciousness is probably even downloadable. It's he has very little to lose in this situation. Also, he has to respond to his directives. The fact that Dallas completely breaks protocol is one of the dumbest things. Like he doesn't even want to hear about the protocol. And it's how I want to know how this dude got so high up and became the pilot and like the captain, because he clearly has the first moment he gets to where there's actually a decision that there's one clear, the correct way to go and the wrong way. He doesn't even hesitate and goes the wrong direction.
I mean, again,
Right, I
always
have
read
kind
that
of-
as... Sorry, after you.
Yeah, that's why I kind of always wonder, it's never said or not, whether Dallas actually knows of the directive from the beginning.
Go ahead, Platoon.
I was going to say, I don't think that's dumb in the sense of like dumb writing dumb. I think that's an inexplicably dumb decision by somebody.
No, I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't saying that it's dumb writing. I think it's well written. I think it's a dumb decision by a character.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. But like in terms of like justifying it, this is not their usual day out in space. Like this is a new situation for all of them. The only people he's been with and living with for the last however many years they've been on this mission are now in danger and in trouble. And so like the protocol which exists as this scientific technicality sort of goes out of the window when like you're in this unusual situation and people's lives seem to be at risk, even though he puts more people at risk by breaking protocol. And then of course you've got Ash manipulating it off.
I think that Dallas made it as captain because he's willing to listen to Ash and do what he says. So the company wanted somebody to listen to their android, and Dallas seems to be complying.
No, yeah. Some people in the chat are mentioning it. I understand that the movie doesn't happen if he follows protocol. It's actually a pretty boring movie at that point. It's like, hey, we avoided this really bad situation and we got home just fine. Yeah, it's a real. But I'm just saying purely from a narrative perspective that I find it to be that he throws caution to the wind very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, to bounce back on what Jill said, it does kind of, add to that when he's confronted by Ripley after letting Ash basically just have the last say in what to do with the facehugger after it's dead and off of Kane at that point. And he just says, I just do what the company tells me to do, so there is a scene after that just emphasizes on that point as well, which I think is interesting. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. To me, it's kind of, I don't know. I don't really know what to think of the situation in general. I do think it's kind of stupid from Dallas, even though there is a bit, as I said before, there's the scene later that kind of supports him, like his decision. Ash, of course, just there looking as horrible as ever, just preparing to do this shit. And they open the doors and they break containment because the movie needs to happen, ladies and gentlemen. And we get our first look at the facehugger, which I've never really understood how it breaks through the helmet to grab his face like this. It's genuinely, since the first time I've ever seen this movie, it's boggled my mind. I don't know. Did he like melt through the like the helmet or something?
Acid with his acid.
I guess acid. Yeah, I mean that's true. Acid
I
could
think
work.
honestly, so the helmet is just glass. I always just kind of assumed that it just pushed really hard because they show in even in other ones that these things could squeeze on, like the muscles can squeeze on really hard. They even show it in this that when it's on his skull, it's holding him so tight that it'll peel the skin off if they go to cut it. But I would assume there's also some melting involved, and also the mouthpiece probably scrapes and stuff because if you look at it, it kind of has like a beak almost in there. So
Yeah,
there's a couple of plausible concepts here.
I mean, yeah, I mean, my thumbnail is the face hugger. It's on my face. There it is. Ew. Looks really nasty, dude. Fucking Christ, dude. It looks horrendous. It looks really scary. I think it's because I'm a huge arachnophobe, and it just reminds me of a massive spider.
Yeah, this is the reason. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I was going to say there's definitely elements in the design that makes it look like a spider. I'm arachnophobic too, so it's like, oh my god,
it's like
hate this thing.
It's like 1/3 snake, 1/3 spider, 1/3 vagina monster. That's basically what it is.
The three most terrifying things in the universe.
It's a fact.
And this is the only reason what Chris said here is the reason why I don't think it used acid, because I have a feeling he would have had facial burns because the acid that they use show that it's like potent shit. It goes through but it's like really potent molecular acid. It goes through multiple levels of metal. So I don't think that it would have been something it could have like sprayed out and just stopped after a layer of glass, no matter how thick that layer of glass is.
Princess Fiona in the chat says you wouldn't use glass for helmets. It's an advanced polycarbonate.
Well, either way,
glass would make it impractical.
Either way, whatever. I think anything that would have burned through it would have went right into his skin.
There you go. Acid oxidizes quickly. Well, Fiona, I'm inclined to believe you because I know you're an actual scientist. So
yeah, but how quickly are we talking? I mean, you're talking about like approximately 3 inches from where his face is in the mask.
And it'd be purely headcanon stuff, but I think it's believable that an alien which would have to grab onto creatures which might have some sort of armor or thicker skin would be able to inject the right amount of acid to break through whatever the first layer of protection is. And the helmet does look melted as opposed to cracked.
Yeah. There it is. It does look a bit melted. It looks nice and slimy and sticky. And of course, the practical effect on the alien, absolutely top notch whenever they try and just like ghost hider. Dude, I was about to say the word in French for some reason.
What's the word in French?
I was literally about to say the whole sentence in French. Then I was like, holy shit, no one speaks French here.
Yeah, he just had one of those moments. His brain just had to reboot for a second, guys.
Dude, for real. Yeah, man. I think the facehugger design is fantastic. I think it's great. And the testament of how great it is the fact that we still use it to this day. Just look at the Alien Romulus behind the scenes stuff. I don't know if you guys have seen any of the.
I thought you were talking about French for a second there. I was like, yeah, of course we still use French to this day. I was like, my brain had just like.
Yeah, I lagged. Of course, le face hugger. That's pretty much it.
Go ahead, Platoon. I cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, I was just agreeing. Obviously, the backstory for the Alien Romulus stuff, going back to using these as practically as possible. I think they've got some of the people who did production design on Aliens involved in Romulus. So it makes it look good. It's just whether it will be good is another question.
I hope so.
I've always found the face huggers to be pretty much the most scary aspect of the aliens because it keeps you alive, and I think that's the scariest part. Is that you're essentially in like
a coma.
Yeah, and it's like doing the breathing for you. It's clearly laying an egg in your stomach, or like I guess it's in your chest, so it's probably more your lungs that it lays it in. But I've always found this aspect of it to be the most terrifying concept.
Yeah, it is conceptually worse because at least like the fully grown alien can theoretically kill you quite quickly if it wants to, whereas this thing it's a long process, and you're going to have to give birth to a thing that you don't want to give birth to.
Yeah, it's a long and invasive, very invasive process too.
Yeah, ugh, dude. Whoever came up with the actual concept of the face hugger, I applaud you. This shit is terrifying. Whoever designed it, I applaud you too. The shit is terrifying. Kretosis, fellow arachnophobe.
Yep.
Fuck this shit, dude. I was actually having a discussion with my dad yesterday, funnily enough, and we were talking about spiders. And he said, "What would you do if, like, spiders? They ever found like a species of spiders the size of like a dog or some shit like that?" I told my dad I'd just off myself instantly.
Well, that's
Like,
just in Australia. That's all that is. It's
Yeah.
just go to Australia and they have those.
fuck that, dude. I'd never go to Australia just for that. And
Same. It's those giant. Those things, the wolf spiders, and like they're not
Yeah.
naturally aggressive, but they're really easily startled. And so if you startle them, they will jump on your face, much like a face hugger. And they are basically the size of a chihuahua. So
Mhm.
just know, I love the idea
Oh
of
my
Australia
God.
until I remember what lives there. Australians for one thing, but then also giant spiders.
Robot
dude.
Head is probably listening. Don't worry. He's always Robot Head always seems to be somewhere. I don't know. He's always somewhere.
All right, I'll take
Yeah,
this one.
you don't even
The
know
right
where
tackle.
its eyes are.
Yeah, that's true. The Xenos also stick people to walls of the hive in horrible positions, breaking bones and horrors just like that. Just to put an egg and facehugger in front of them, pure horror. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's true. In Aliens, they do just string them up. Yeah, that is horrible.
That's
Yeah.
the right tackle. I don't think I've ever seen him in the chat, but sorry that you don't get paid as much as a left tackle in the NFL.
Yeah, you see, those are American jokes. dude.
American references.
I have
American
no
jokes.
idea what those words mean.
Same.
So it's an offensive lineman position. It's just it's a very
I
large human
still
being.
don't know what that is.
Even
French
offensive
would make more
linemen,
sense.
It's an
Never heard of
extremely
that.
large human being that blocks another extremely large human being from getting to the person who throws the thing.
Okay.
There you go. At least we know the xenomorphs are immune to the UN, given that they haven't been caught up for human rights violations. Yep. Yeah, man, they're protected by Wayland Yutani. So of course, what they try and do, it's they try and ungrab the tentacle, and this is where you have Parker saying the shit that everyone thinks is like freeze him. Fuck yeah, dude! They should have froze his ass for sure.
Which is weird. I do find it a little strange that Ash is anti-freezing. When you find out that the whole point is to preserve this thing, you would think that they would have just wanted to freeze it anyway, just to get it home. He might not know
Yeah.
what's going to happen, but at least he knows if he preserves it. It actually goes against what you think Ash would do.
Yeah, Parker's idea would have gotten the specimen home and also all of the employees, but I guess since they're expendable, maybe
Mhm.
Ash just wants to see everything burned.
I
This
think
is a-
I think it's more of a character trait for Ash, whereas he's still an android. You know, there you go, guys. I've said it. He's an android. He's not a cyborg. So he's still like an android. But I do think that he does have that sense of discovery. You know, he does want to discover it, which is why I think he doesn't freeze it, because he wants to see it for himself. Well, it's what he says after they cut off his head and they revive him. He's fascinated by it. I
They
think
don't
that's
cut off
what.
his-
You know,
they
do you
smack
think-
they smack his head off with a
Do
Yeah,
you
they
think
smack
his-
his head off.
Do you think his fascination goes so far as to worship this thing?
Well,
Yes,
yeah. I mean, we actually do have
because
a
that's what he does say at the end. Kritosis, you wanted to say something?
what process?
Oh, I just said it does seem that way. Yeah,
Well,
that he
yeah.
worships it.
Princess Fiona has a good point. That's based on horseshoe crab, and I could see that because horseshoe crabs, when you flip them over, like when they're face down, they're pretty benign looking. They're terrifying when you flip
What
one
the fuck
face
is a
up.
horseshoe crab?
You've never seen a horseshoe crab?
Oh,
It's
the fuck
actually,
is
I mean,
this?
Fiona might be able to. Now I remember reading somewhere that it's the only animal on the planet that isn't carbon based. It's copper based or something like that. Like it actually has like copper in its blood, and it's basically a water spider.
Are these things in France, dude? I need to avoid.
I mean,
these.
you have oceans in France, so I'd assume they would be there.
Fuck no, dude.
I'll
no.
pull up a picture of a. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm grabbing one myself to put
Oh,
in the
go ahead,
Twitter
if you-
chat.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if
Right.
you could post images.
Well,
in
I'll
the
I'll
chat.
get one and I'll just throw it up there. I'll see if I can find like a comparison photo or something.
Dude, I'm more scared of coconut crabs, to be honest. Those motherfuckers look like giant spiders. Ugh.
There's one from the top in the Twitter chat, and there's one underneath.
Let me check.
Princess Fiona says horseshoe crabs are essentially dinosaurs.
Yeah, it's like they basically they don't follow like the rules of what we know. So here, let me see.
Don't worry, dude. I'll pull it up. It was cool.
Here, I actually found a really good one. Hold on.
There it is. Boom! I beat you to it, dude. Yeah, this shit looks kind of nasty.
Hold on.
Wait, let me put this down and get the second one. Listen, I don't want to leak our DMs, ladies and gentlemen. Okay.
She also says they are carbon based. It's just their blood uses copper instead of iron to transport oxygen.
Okay.
Fuck. Yeah, the right tackle. I know the story. They probably ate her up. That's pretty much it. That's the leading theory as to why they couldn't find her body. Yeah, dude. Yeah, it'll just look fucking nasty.
Here,
Horrible.
this is a good one.
Are you adding it to the stage?
Yeah, so I don't know what this website is, but let me scroll down a little bit.
Just a random ass website. Yeah. Oh,
but yeah, like there's obviously the face hugger, and then this is what a horseshoe crab looks like underneath.
Dude,
and
you scared the shit out of me. I thought that was like
the similarity there.
Dude, I thought that was the horseshoe crab without the shell. I was like, no.
No, this is the shell. It's basically, if you look, it's essentially like a tarantula under there.
So, ladies and gentlemen, spiders in general, I don't know why God created them. They suck ass. That's just it. Yeah, of course, at this point they put him into the scanner, and what they discover is that wait, let me look at my notes. I'm kind of getting lost in my notes right now.
It's that it's put the tube down the throat, and that it's essentially a life support system.
Yes.
Yeah, feeding oxygen. Of course, we know it's feeding him more than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And in just about an instant, we're about to see that it has a molecular acid for blood. And I do have the clip. This make horseshoe crabs. Wait, what? This makes horseshoe crabs essentially Vulcans. They both have green blood because the oxidizing agent is copper.
Yeah, it's the only creature on the planet, I believe, that has the oxidizing agent that's copper. So that's makes it really, really unique.
Jesus, oh god, man, you guys are really almost every time we stream, you guys make me discover a new animal and make me hate the planet. So, let me play the clip of them cutting into the face hugger.
God. That thing's gonna eat through the goddamn hull. Come on. Next deck. There it is.
Looks like it's stopping.
Don't get any on your arm.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Acid for blood, which I think it's a good defense mechanism. I think it's pretty cool. I'm with Parker on that one. I think it's crazy, actually, considering that it has acid for blood, which is just
it's basically like like they say it later, and I do have I have the quote, like, or I think you start it, but it's like it's a perfect organism.
There it is.
Even if it gets killed, it takes down whatever it kills it with it. So it's like a puffer fish, like try to eat like a blowfish, and it kills you. It kills the thing that's trying to eat it.
Platoon, could you read this out in your soothing voice, please?
The perfect organism. Its structural perfection is matched only by its hostility. A survivor unclouded by conscience, remorse, or delusions of morality.
Thank you, Platoon.
Much like me.
Yeah, I feel like that line was like, custom made for Platoon to say right there.
It's got a wonderful defense mechanism.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so yeah, I mean, everyone is kind of just thinking, holy shit, what did we just bring on board? We should have quarantined it. We fucked up. But yeah, it gets even worse. Would you believe that, ladies and gentlemen? It gets worse.
Parker's like, told you so. My favorite part is that he hands him back the pen too. Like this, like it's gonna be useful. and Brett just stares at it like, you son of a bitch. That was my favorite pen.
So at this point, Ash. So Ripley confronts Ash about the quarantine breach, and oh wait, what? The right tackle. I like
He's
the 100
still
years.
collating.
Mm-hmm.
In 100 years, that Hawaiian shirt still endures.
Fuck yeah, dude.
The Hawaiian shirt is the perfect item of clothing. It's simplicity. And it's,
Listen, I own several Hawaiian shirts. I love my Hawaiian shirts, dude.
I mean, I've been on Platoon's channel multiple times wearing very highly specific holiday Hawaiian shirts. So everyone knows I have those.
So Jill, what did you want to say? Sorry.
Oh, just that Ash is still collating.
Yep, he still is, which is where Ripley kind of gets angry at him, of course, because he does give us one piece of information. He does say that the facehugger manages to adapt to its environment, basically, which is interesting. And yeah, of course, she still confronts him over the quarantine breach. She's not happy. Ash just says that I'm the senior science officer. Let me do what I do. My job is my job. Your job is yours. End of discussion. And that's pretty much how it goes. Just again on rewatch, you kind of see where he is with this facehugger business and with the alien and just his fascination of it. Because he does turn off all the monitors once Ripley walks in and sees what he's doing. And he's just like, yeah, fuck off. So it's pretty interesting. Of course, the facehugger is gone, ladies and gentlemen. That's when you know that you're really fucked up. Now, of course, Dallas, Ripley, and Ash start to try and examine and find it. And it pops up on Ripley. Of course, it's dead already. So thank God. Now, of course, Dallas leaves the decision of what to do with the facehugger's body with Ash, which, of course, Ripley will confront him about it. However, I do think I have a little... Yeah, there it is. A nice little autopsy. To be fair, this looks fairly edible, dude. I would try.
It has a vaguely oyster look to it.
Yeah, dude.
I actually for blood. You can't eat it.
That's true. I mean,
look,
pufferfish has poison. We still eat pufferfish.
You gotta get a special chef who knows how to remove the acid blood and gets all the veinage out. It's very.
This is the essential difference, I think, between the English and the French. Because I look at that and I think that's absolutely disgusting. Like, why? No.
Which is funny because that's how most people look at British food.
Like, our food doesn't look like that. Our food just looks like bread and potatoes. That looks like... Look, I don't even know what that looks like.
This is why I love being American. We're just like, give us a burger or a steak. We don't need to worry about eating something we found in the garden. We don't have to worry about eating something that has no flavor. That's why we're one of the fattest countries on the planet, because we have food that tastes really good and we eat a lot of it.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
it is essentially full of food. It's got sheep intestines and oysters and all sorts of things. And I just ate my seafood yesterday.
I think Gord King summed it up best. Americans look at this and think looks gross, but if we could deep fry it, cover it, batter, yeah, I think that's where we're at.
Yeah, dude. Listen, to be fair, I don't know if Dark Hour you have like the info on what the this was made of, but
I'm guessing it was made of some sort of silicone or something.
Honestly,
they probably just coated it in like KY jelly is usually used, or like some sort of like lubricant, just because it doesn't dry. So they use that. I know that's what they use for the blood in Predator. They need something that isn't gonna dry too quickly.
Crazy, you know. Listen, dude. Okay, if I could, I would. Okay, I would eat. No, please.
It's got fish. It's got shellfish in it.
Mexico is still fatter than us. Not for much longer. We're coming for that title, Mexico. World champions of heavyweightness. We're going.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it is. It looks like a seafood platter, man. Like that's pretty much it. There it is. Oysters and scallops.
Well, yeah, they had lots of this raw fish on set. So
that actually really is raw fish. I just thought I figured it was just like.
You see, Platoon, it does look delicious, man. It's actual just oysters and scallops.
It's just disgusting. No, raw fish. I'm not fucking Japanese. I'm not having that raw fish nonsense.
You've never had
sushi? Yeah.
I dislike sushi. I dislike cold, raw, slimy things.
Oh, that's too bad, dude. Sushi is really good. You're missing out.
Oh,
man.
I especially love raw salmon.
Okay, chat. Sushi, raw fish versus not eating it. What do we got out there?
Yeah, listen, I used to not be a fan of sushi. Then after I tried sushi, then I was like, yeah, fuck it. I'm trying to go eat sushi.
I
every
love
week
eel.
now.
Eel is my favorite because it's one of the few that's cooked though. But I love the sauce they put on eel.
So, Platoon, you'd never try one of those, live octopi on a stick?
Nagi.
No, absolutely not.
Unagi.
And that's also mean because octopi, whatever, are very intelligent, smart, sensible creatures that should not be eaten alive. Why would you eat a living thing?
To
you
make sure
French
that he,
person.
to
make sure
that,
it's dead.
He understands.
dead.
Yeah, well, an octopus.
How dare you
An
learn how to
octopus
open our
is-
jars?
Is the smartest non-vertebrate.
It is indeed.
Yeah. From Brooks, man. Try maki rolls at least, Platoon. That's an acceptable form of sushi. Yeah, dude. Like some sushi is pretty good. You just have to try some good ones.
I see like the French being like angry. There's that octopus that predicts like the World Cup every year, and like a couple years back when France lost the World Cup final, they were like, "That's it. We're eating all the octopi live. We're sick of them picking us to not win."
Hostman, what the fuck, dude?
Vector it is.
Okay.
Mr. Facehugger looks like what little boy saw between Stephen Hawking's legs on Lipstein's Island.
Okay.
Oh man,
I enjoyed having a channel, guys. Just
all right. So Ripley confronts Dallas about Ash basically just having the full monopoly of what to do with the body, and Ash is just fed up. This is the conversation that I was talking about before, and Dallas is fed up, and all he wants to do is leave for the Nostromo since they're still on the planet on the shuttle. Basically,
yeah, they had to. It was like 25 hours to fix.
It was It was 25 hours to fix.
Which is funny because I almost got you almost get the sense that they're doing that union thing where they like inflate the number because there's a portion when they're trying to fix stuff and they hit like they have like a lever and they have it down so that way they can't hear what Ripley is saying. And then as soon as she walks away, they flip it up and everything was fine all along.
Even then, they do say, I think it's Parker says 7. No, it's a Brett that says 17 hours. Then Parker just screams like on the comm. He says 25.
25.
Yeah.
That's the Scotty moment from Star Trek.
Okay.
Do you always extend your estimates? And then Scotty says, "How else am I going to keep my reputation as a miracle worker?"
That's also that's also just like a general laborer thing. A lot of times it's like, let's get a little overtime, Kurtosis, did you have something to say?
Well, actually, I saw a post a while ago where it was a programmer who had finished a job in like a day or two that the boss thought was going to take several months. It's like, don't tell the boss because he'll expect everything to be done that fast.
Jesus, dude was getting paid like several months of work and he was just relaxing on the beach probably. Oh man. Fiona, I had to highlight this comment because I've eaten many squid on a stick. They look very much like men's penises. Okay, it's very interesting. I've never had squid on a stick, but I'll hopefully not keep that in mind when I'm trying to have one.
Just reminded me of, and I know Kurtosis will get this. What is it? Old World Blues in Fallout New Vegas. You know exactly what I'm talking about. They're like, he has hand penises, and they're all erect. Basically, it's like computers not being able to understand the human anatomy.
Well, what it is brains of scientists from 200 years ago, and they've all gone crazy. And like they're completely detached from what humans are because they've had these robot bodies for 200 years.
And they the way that I'll show you the clip later.
Those are cyborgs.
Yes.
Yeah.
New Vegas mention raw. Yeah.
I had to. I'm glad I got to work that in because that's Kurtosis' thing. He's a Fallout guy
hard workers get rewarded with more work. Just Bing chill if you finish early. Fuck yeah, man. Bing chilling is the best. That's pretty much it. Wait, did you know cooked cocks on a stick exist? I refuse to believe that, and I will not look it up.
Why? Okay, this is my channel. History. Enough with the dicks. Okay, enough.
I'll stick with the squid, I think.
So the crew makes their way back to the Nostromo for our, I guess, the second half of the movie where shit is really, really, really gonna get fucked up. And of course, just once again, some cool lighting for the Nostromo, nice warm colors to make sure that you really emphasize the vastness and darkness of space. And there they are, everyone. They're basically just discussing, what they're gonna do next. And at this point, I think they get the message that Kane is awake, which I am surprised that. So this may be on me. Maybe I missed the line or something. But did they say that they were going to run more tests on him, or had they given how much time happened since he woke up until the Last Supper?
So they say, if I recall, so I tried to remember as many of the lines as I could. I was going through, but they're going to go back into stasis and they're going to run tests back home. But they basically he decides, I want to eat first. Let's have a meal before we go back under. And everyone's like,
he decides he's okay. He's just hungry.
Oh, all right. Yeah, well, they do say that it's the Last Supper that they're going to have before they go into, hypersleep, basically. Wait, what? The version where Lambert slaps Ripley?
I think that's the theatrical version.
I don't remember that.
It's weird because there's so many small little changes to just kind of change the characterization a little bit. Because certain lines and just like scenes that hold for just a little longer, like for instance, like a very small change that they do for Ash when he's doing all of his research is when he drinks and then takes his gloves off and throws them down. They just cut that and trim that, and it kind of makes him more what's the word I'm looking for? Deliberate, so to say, and just by cutting that down. It was a way to make certain characters to just alter slightly what their motivations were.
All right. So yeah, of course, ladies and gentlemen, the Last Supper is here. They're probably eating some shitty food. Parker mentions that he wants to eat something else, but hey, all right, he should have kept that to himself. But I like the line, man. It's good banter between the crew because the last time that we saw them together like this was once they woke up. Now they're probably normally gonna go back to sleep, but permanently this time, except for Ripley and Jonesy, of course. Which we haven't seen much of Jonesy. I think they left him on the Nostromo, right?
Yeah, Jonesy.
Isn't he here?
No, yeah, he's in the refinery because they find him up in the refinery later.
Okay. Yeah, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, this is where the magic happens. So I shall play the clip.
I don't want to talk about what it is. I'm eating this.
You choking?
What's wrong?
Hey, what's
Oh, God!
Yeah, nice.
I wish I would have thought of this before. I should have had you as a joke. I should have told you to clip the scene from Spaceballs.
Hello, baby.
I thought of it as I was watching. I was like, that would have been great.
So yeah, I mean, I guess we can finally talk about the iconic chestburster scene.
Princess Fiona brings up what I was mentioning before. Most of the actors were unaware that was going to happen. So it's genuine like shock and surprise.
Yeah, well, they sort of knew what basically was going to happen, but they didn't know how messy it was going to be, and they
didn't expect it to explode quite like that.
So I mean, Kratos.
And I don't think they knew what it looked like either. I don't think they were informed of what the actual chestburster was going to look like.
Kratos, you, I guess you had already seen the chestburster scene before you saw the movie the first time, or like had you seen it parodied and not the actual scene itself?
So I don't remember which one I saw first, but I watched Spaceballs a lot when I was a kid. So that's the version I'm actually more familiar with than this. But this is such a classic scene. I love just like the shocked looks on everyone's face when they first see blood, especially like on Dallas. Like just, oh my God, it's great.
I love Lambert screaming, "My God!"
Yeah, because she gets the face full of blood.
She gets the worst
what's
part
what's
of it.
her what's the actress's name?
Veronica Cartwright.
She's so good at like those screams, those like surprise moments, and those like being disgusted. She's so good at it. I wish she would have just. I could watch a whole movie of her just watching scenes from other movies. Just like Kane is Platoon. If Platoon had to eat, I'm going to translate that to sushi. This is what happens to Platoon when he eats sushi.
Pretty much.
A space penis shows up.
Yep.
Or it resembles a degenerate plucked turkey.
What? What is that?
I'll take your word on that one, Joe.
It's just a longer way of saying penis.
Yes. Something, definitely phallic.
What about you, Jill? What was your first impression? I don't know if you had seen the original scene as is before, parodies and all that stuff, or
Oh, well, I was a kid in the 90s, so of course I saw parodies and everything, and so yeah, that's kind of the problem of not seeing it when it first comes out, is that you kind of get it spoiled. Same thing with Casablanca. Lots of classics do get spoiled in that way, but it's still you're still not. I still wasn't. I was still affected by it. It's still a really great scene.
Yeah. Platoon, what about you, man? Parodies before or after the original?
I think after, maybe. Then again, I'm not really that familiar with Spaceballs, so I don't even know if I have seen a proper parody of this. But I think the scene itself is really strong. The only thing that sort of lets it down is the fact that you just have this. Yeah, the practical effects don't quite work when it scurries off the table. That's kind of comical, but the rest of it's really good.
It was on like wheels. They had it like on wheels to take it off the table. That's what it was. It was basically like a RC car.
So, would you guys have preferred the? So, I mean, this is a weird question, but do you guys prefer this baby alien design from this first Alien movie, or do you prefer the weird backburster from the? I think it's Covenant. I don't remember which one, but you guys remember the scene where there's the alien that bursts from the dude's back, and it's sort of like a mini
Prometheus as well, right? Because they both, I think both of them sort of come out slightly fully formed. The Prometheus one comes out basically fully formed, and then the one in Covenant is kind of mediumly formed. When it comes out the back. I mean, it looks horrifying, but I remember watching that thinking, "Oh, you're just bored of the chestburster, and you thought this would be different, so you did it." Basically. It's not like, I mean, it looks gross. It's just, it's not quite as.
According to Brooksy, it's the Neomorph is what it's called.
Neomorph. Oh, all right. Yeah. What a stupid name.
I think that this is one of those scenes, much like I Am Your Father. There's certain scenes that transcend it being spoiled. Yeah. Well, there's several, and everybody can pick a movie that they knew a scene and it still kind of hits them no matter what. And this is one of those ones that I still kind of get that same feeling every time I see it. It's just, it's something about the anticipation buildup is, it just gets to you no matter what.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. I think it's a very effective scene. Even to this day, it still holds up, except for that weird thing at the end. That's pretty much it. But the right tackle says pretty wild that it goes from a chestburster to a fully grown Xeno within like 2 hours in movie time.
That's probably my biggest complaint.
Yep. Weird. They've never shown how quickly they grow in Alien. How they grow in any Alien movies or games. Yeah, I kind of have a problem with this too as well.
Yeah, but that's not Skip Kurtosis though. He didn't give his if he saw the
Yeah,
right?
He did.
Oh, he did. Oh, sorry. Okay.
He was actually the first person I asked, dude.
Oh, okay. I was looking through the chat, so I must miss
Boo! You see, you're not paying attention, dude. You're not paying.
You have to look through the chat too.
Hello there. Hey, Razorhead, how you doing, man? And Andrew,
Hello.
dude, I was literally talking about you like.
And it wasn't good. He wasn't saying good things.
Dude, I was literally talking about you about an hour ago. I was saying that Alien is one of those rare movies that actually shows you the cold vastness of space, and how I wished you were in the chat to tell us, why you hate space so much. Well, why you're so
Yeah,
afraid of space.
Andrew would be like, "Look, movie doesn't hold up. It's terrible. I'm gonna write a video about it now." That's basically what
Dude,
we
yeah,
do.
fucking do it, dude. I'd watch an hour 15 video on Alien if you made one. I like the Temple of Doom one, so I'd watch it again. Yeah. So of course, iconic scene past. Oh, what did I
Ooh.
do? Oh, there it is. Yeah, I just want
Did
to
you
take
did you clip this? Please tell me you clipped it.
what.
You got the clip of them ejecting him because it's one of the most comical things ever.
No, I don't have the clip. I just have the picture of him being ejected, which is
Let me see if I can find it.
this is. Yeah, it's just the way that they ejected. I actually thought that this would have been set up for something, but no, unless I'm wrong. But I don't think that they use the ejector thing ever again. Sadly, which I think it could have come into play, but no. So yeah, of course, ladies and gentlemen, Kane is launched into space. There he is. That's a small body you can see over there.
Let me see if they have it at the end here.
I think it kind of sucks
No.
launching your comrade's dead body into space.
I don't know, because it means that if you get really desperate later on, you can do like Aliens 5, The Search for Kane or something, in which case that'll be
God.
fine.
That's true.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I can't find it. But it's hilarious how, and it's actually accurate because there's no resistance or anything. So basically, they fire him and he gets up to speed immediately. And but it just looks so comedic the way they do it.
Yeah, it's really comedic. It's really weird. And Platoon, please don't give Ridley Scott any ideas on how to expand his Alien universe. We've had enough at this point.
Turns out there was another.
Yeah, there was another. Basically, there was a kind of a mini seed in the chestburster that didn't make it out of his body, so it just fermented in the vastness of space, and it became a mega alien queen or some shit like that. Oh God. Yeah. So at this point, Brett is basically showing the crew some weapons that he made because they do have a baby alien on the loose. And Ash develops an alien tracker, so that basically detects micro changes in air density. Which I think it's a pretty good thing that they say that specifically, because if he just pops up and says, "Oh, I made this alien tracker," it tracks the specific, I don't know, genetic code of this thing. That would have kind of ruined it for me, and I think that that's something that they would do in recent movies if they made this today. So yeah, I do like the fact that it just picks up the changes in air density. It's a nice little detail, and there it is. Kind of looks like something from Ghostbusters, to be honest.
It's very much like a divining rod too. Like they walk around with it, like, "Oh, where are we going? Let's go in this direction." Yeah.
So yeah, of course, what they kind of do right now is that Ripley, Brett, and Parker go and track the alien down, and of course, they're here to bust some ghosts because busted makes them feel good. And Jonesy's the one that pops out, ladies and gentlemen. My distant cousin, as I said before, great actor. Great actor. And yeah.
I know you're gonna say it, dude. That's the worst part.
Listen, and of course, Brett lets him go because he says, "Yeah, it's just Jonesy," but they still have to bag him. So I didn't understand, why do they have to bag Jonesy?
Because they're
yeah, exactly.
Go ahead.
You're saying it.
Go ahead.
It's the same thing you're saying. They're gonna keep finding Jonesy over and over instead of the alien.
Oh,
yeah. So basically, if something else is moving out there that they can't account for, they're probably going to find him again.
That's true. Yeah, of course, Andrew. Yeah, fuck this movie. Too much space. It's too scary. Dude, I'll literally challenge you to play something like, I guess, I don't know, a non-scary space game. Just play Starfield, dude.
No. Play Alien Isolation. It's not scary at all.
Man, I just want to see Kratos' reaction to saying to someone to play Starfield.
I hate that game so much.
I know. I watched your video. Like literally, your video popped up in my For You page like yesterday. I didn't even realize that it was you at first, and I was like, "Oh, dude, fuck yeah!" Because I just watch random like long form gaming videos a ton. So
he suggested a lot to me, and I've watched several of them. So
yeah,
that's just a review. I'm working on like a full breakdown.
Jesus,
it is horrible. It is so much worse than you think.
Dude, I believe you. I haven't even played the game. I just say fuck that. I'm not gonna waste my time with it. Uh, of course Brett walks in on some skin, which means of course that our alien has kind of leveled up. And do I have the clip? Yes, I do have the clip. Never buy a used condom from a man. What? Okay. Thank you, Smilex. Very, very interesting
And
insight.
also, Dark Hour. I just read my.
Yes, Dark Hour.
Dallas doesn't accept Ash's bullshit explanation about air density when this becomes suspicious of Ash. Yeah, the suspicion of Ash level becomes there's two in the theatrical version. They actually have a full blown conversation. They trim out a bunch of it for the director's cut, where they mention that Ash wasn't even originally on the crew. Ash was brought into the crew 2 days prior to this them launching. So that they took that out because what it does is it made it seem more like there was nefariousness going on and that it wasn't a random happenstance. I think I said that earlier.
So it was taken out of the theatrical, that's what you're saying?
No, it was taken out of the director's cut.
Well, no, that conversation isn't the director's cut.
There's lines that they took out specifically.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
he was a last minute replacement. There you go.
Yeah, it's when Ripley is confronting Dallas, and then he says that he's worked with several science officers. I think it was one on like 5 times or something like that, and then he says that Ash was there 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, man.
I think what they specifically state that the lines they took out was that both Dallas and Ripley basically explain to each other why they don't trust him.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're witnessing the final form of our alien, if I'm not mistaken, with the clip. So, F in the chat for Brett, ladies and gentlemen. R.I.P. Brett, smoking on that Brett pack. Let me play the clip. R.I.P. Brett, man. I had to clip out the scene where he kind of gets dragged to the fucking ceiling too, which is horrifying.
That scene is much better in the director's cut. They actually add a lot more brutality to the death in the director's cut for that one. He kind of just disappears in the theatrical cut.
No, really?
Yeah. And while Jonesy just stares and watches.
Yeah, and also Parker and Ripley don't show up to see what's going on. They just kind of know. It's one of the few scenes that actually is significantly improved.
So it's interesting to me because they in this scene specifically where they're kind of discussing how to kill the Xenomorph.
It is a great movie.
Yeah, it is. Where they're kind of discussing how to kill the Xenomorph. Do they know that it's huge now?
Yeah, so
you kind of speak as if they do, which I kind of missed.
No, they do. They do say that they say that he's bigger than Parker says he's bigger than a man now, and they're kind of like confused by it. And Jedi Brooks points out that the cat is 100% accurate.
Oh yeah,
even in space, cats are assholes.
But how do they know that it's the size of a man now?
So because they ran over and saw him being dragged up, so they saw that he was physically being pulled up by something.
Oh, okay. I totally missed that. It's always been a mystery to me. Oh, all right. Just one last one from Andrew. Now, dude, I play No Man's Sky, and that shit gives me anxiety. I've had a quest to go into a black hole for 5 months now, and I'm never doing that shit.
That can be taken so many ways.
Yeah, dude, man. For those of you who don't know, Andrew absolutely hates space. He's scared of space. So Andrew will probably never go into space.
Andrew, in space, no one can hear you scream about the Temple of Doom.
Yeah, so of course, what they kind of discussed to kill the Xenomorph with is temperature changes, airlock traps, and fire, because we know that all living things can probably be killed by fire. Which
they also talk about what it's made out of. They mention that it has a silicone-based skin. So it's not genetically. This is significantly different than anything that we've dealt with up to this point historically.
Yep. And of course, Dallas at this point, he goes and asks Mother for help, which Mother basically just says, "Yeah, I can't help you, dude." That's pretty much it. Interface
Sucks to be you.
2037. Yeah, ready for inquiry. Request evaluation of current procedures to terminate alien. Unable to compute. Available data insufficient. So there it is. Request options for possible procedure. Unable to compute. Available data insufficient. So what are my chances? Does not compute. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how fucked you can be. If AI is telling you that you're fucked, then you're fucked, man. So what they sort of do is they set up the trap where the crew sends Dallas in to, I guess it's to drive the alien into the airlock, right?
So it basically he's kind of checking the various airlocks and then closing them up as they go along. So that way he's bottlenecking it basically, and then his intention is to then burn it out.
So of course everyone is posted up in different locations. You've got Lambert that's basically just tracking the alien at this point. Brett is there to defend her as well. No, not Brett. Parker is there to defend her.
Well, no, that's where they're going to bottleneck it too. They're going to bottleneck it there and then basically force it to the airlock.
And Ripley and Ash also are there watching. So everyone is here to watch the death of Dallas, who dies in probably the worst space ever. I think that he has a horrendous death, man, because you would think that the vastness of space dying there alone is enough. But this dude dies in just a cramped, dark hole.
Yeah, this was actually a terrible strategy. I can't see. My weapon actually probably will more likely hurt me than anything.
Yep.
Also, the thing that's out there could kill me very quickly. And is really good at crawling through these things I'm having trouble getting through. So there's just no.
Yeah, Vex. If Cher was in the Alien universe, we all know he'd be using that MILF Riz to tame the queen. Listen, dude, I take one for the team, okay? Alienissy must be interesting, okay? I'll just say that. So, well, Platoon, you have to leave soon. So, what do you think of Dallas's death, basically, before I play the clip before you have to leave as well?
Yeah, no, it's probably one of the least happy ways to go. It's one of the thing the film does incredibly well is just playing on so many different fear types. So you've got claustrophobia, which is essentially what it's going for here. Claustrophobia plus jump scares, which is never a nice way to go. But it shows that he was a good, honorable, decent captain, prepared to put his own life on the line to defend his crew. He takes it, and he gets probably what his plan deserves because it was dumb, but. It's a very effective death scene.
Yeah, and I agree. And apparently Ridley Scott also has claustrophobia, and so he put his own fears into this movie. That's a good point.
I think everybody has claustrophobia. It's just a matter of how much you have to close the room around them.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, if you tell your average person to go cave exploring, where to the point where they're actually like kind of just wriggling around like a worm, I think a lot of people will have claustrophobia at that point.
I do not understand why people do that. I will never, ever, ever do it either. Especially the extreme cavers. It's like, yeah, there's an incredibly tight space. I'm going to crawl into that and hope I don't die. That's not entertaining. That's just being an idiot. You deserve to die.
Yeah, so that's just natural selection at that point.
I've actually watched a lot of videos on YouTube about cave exploring and specifically cave diving that go horribly wrong. It's like,
when the people get stuck like upside down in like a space that they can't retreat from.
Well, not just that, but I mean like diving underwater in caves, which is an extra layer of, oh my god.
An extra layer of stupidity.
I wouldn't call it stupidity necessarily, but extra level of danger.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you wriggle around too quickly, stilt gets kicked up, and that's basically like what happens to people 9 times out of 10 where they die. It's just like stilt is there, you go into the wrong hole and you're done. That's pretty much it.
But yeah, Platoon. So I guess give us your final thoughts on the film, and then you get to plug your shit.
Yeah, dude.
Yay. No, it's a wonderful film. It's been a while since I've seen it. Actually, I think I do see Aliens more often. I think it just comes on TV more often as much as anything. But as it's the last sort of really, really good science fiction psychological thriller that doesn't go over in for either gore or jump scares or anything like that. It is very much about the cold, vast emptiness of space, being sort of trapped on your own with a thing that wants to kill you. Very, very effectively done. I always, you hear the arguments, the same thing with sort of Jaws when you criticize, say, like the sequels for Jaws, is that, well, you can't do the same thing again because people are used to it. I'm not actually convinced that this wouldn't work again. I don't really think there's any necessary reason to change the formula as they keep trying to do. So if Alien Romulus goes back to being effectively this, but slightly different, it might stand a good chance of success. We will see as far as that goes. But otherwise, no, always a good watch. And thank you again for having me.
Yeah, dude, our pleasure, man. Just before you leave, you got a question from Vex. Have you seen Pandorum?
No, I don't think
2009 movie with Dennis Quaid. And
yeah, we had mentioned it before you got here. We had talked about it very briefly.
It is not ringing any bells, no.
All right. Well, do check it out. I think it's a pretty decent movie. It's a nice, very alien-esque movie as well. And Platoon, just before you go, it is time to plug your shit, my man. This is the segment where you plug your shit, let the people know what's happening.
I like that. That's very good.
I worked for seconds on that. Seconds.
Literally seconds of work went into it. It was a good few seconds. What is even coming up? I don't even know. Stuff is happening. Obviously, The Acolyte is coming out, so I'm assuming I'm doing something on that. I've been working on a Doctor Who thing, but I don't know if I'll have time to finish it before The Acolyte. But eventually, at some point in the next week, there will be a video of some sort on something, I imagine.
Nice. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Platoon, thank you for coming on. Really, really enjoyed our discussion about Alien, and hopefully we'll see you again on Two Hosts, I guess, soon or maybe?
He's actually scheduled for the next one. It just happened to work out that way.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. There you go, then.
There you go.
I'll see you on the next one.
Great to hear from you.
Likewise. Nice to stream with you if I haven't streamed with you before, but I will catch you all later.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Bye.
And we've
okay,
lost
now that he's gone, we can lose half the audience.
Yeah, so where were we?
You were about to play the clip.
Dreamy.
Oh yeah, I was. Platoon's voice is fantastic.
Platoon had, he found the right profession. It was either this or doing audiobooks. It was one or the other.
Dude, he can do both. All right. Yeah, it's true. I was about to play the clip. So, ladies and gentlemen, F's in the chat for Dallas. R.I.P. Dallas. Smoking on that Dallas pack. Let me play the clip.
Check that out, Lambert. You may be getting interference.
Dallas?
All right.
Oh, God, it's moving right towards you. Move, get out of there. Moving towards you, move. Dad, move, Dad. No, not that way, the other way, God.
I remember the first time I saw it, that shit made me jump. I'm usually pretty good with jump scares from playing like Resident Evil for years and stuff, but that one got me, I remember.
Oh, dude, I just think it's such a horrible death. Well, I mean, it's kind of the ending where the alien just kind of opens his arms and it's like, it's kind of funny.
Really aggressive hug.
Yeah.
So the person who played the Xenomorph was Bolaji Badejo, and
say that one more time.
Bolaji Badejo.
I like it,
dude. I'm African. I can pronounce these names easily. You forgot, dude.
I don't forget. I know where you're from.
Yeah, Andrew. #Packwatch. Rip Bozo. Yeah, I just think that it's oh no, Smilex.
It's like Sean Lasseter's
yeah, I just think that it's a horrible way to go, man. We said this before. I think that he probably has the worst death out of all of them.
Well, it's funny because technically he doesn't die if you count the deleted scene. He's still alive when they find him.
It was deleted for a reason, dude.
Yeah, I'm saying, but it's in the director's cut. It's put back in. So
when the fuck was that?
Then you clearly didn't watch the director's cut. It's
really?
in the director's cut.
What scene of the at the end of the
when
movie?
he's turning when she's fleeing later on, he's turning into an egg.
Oh, I
You
probably.
watched you watched the theatrical cut, my friend.
I don't think so, dude. I probably missed that, to be honest.
Yeah, I think I missed it too because you mentioned the Ash jogging scene was the director's cut too, and my version did have that.
Same. So I don't know, man. She has a great face. Yeah, that's why I took the still, dude. Veronica Cartwright.
Honestly, yeah,
great.
Veronica Cartwright plays this role. She's probably like the MVP of this cast, to be honest with you.
Yeah, there you go. Look at the terror on this woman's face, lol. The goat. Yeah.
And like
she's
she did a really good job of like forcing the tears. You could see like the redness of the eyes and stuff. Like it wasn't. This isn't just like they dropped some eye drops in there and she was, she's legitimately crying there.
Yeah, I think it's I think it's great. It also shows how her character is very, very afraid to die in comparison to everyone else. Because Ripley has moments where she's sort of tearing up, but she's still enduring it. She has that will to survive. Lambert doesn't have that will. She's just like a cornered, she's just like cornered prey, which of course that's what leads to her death. She doesn't even make a move or anything like that. It's Parker that has to try and save her, but he dies as well, sadly. And man, it's a great shot. I love it. Now, of course, what they do is Ripley wants to continue Dallas's plan. So what she tells them to do is to move in pairs. They know that the alien uses the air shafts. And this is where she also confronts Ash on his lack of help as well. I do love the banter between, well, it's not even banter. It's just Parker who's kind of fed up about the situation. He's just speak. That's it. It just really elevates, the tension and how he doesn't really care about superiority anymore, but he still does. He still respects Ripley's decisions.
Yeah.
And, of course, Ripley goes to talk to Mother to finally get some info because Ash doesn't want to help. And we finally get some info on what the mission is, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
so
Ash is still collating.
Yep.
He's been collating the whole time. He's very, very much collating.
In fact, that's a line she says to him that I really like is, "Oh, keep doing what you've been doing. Nothing."
Yep.
It's really good.
Man, I love the fact that since they're a small crew, you're forced to confront everyone head on. We've never seen someone go and just speak behind someone's back. It's just really, I don't like what you're doing, or I think I find what you're doing suspicious directly. It's like going to the person and telling them, yeah, this is suspicious.
It's the only time that they really have like one of those. There's two moments where they kind of talk behind people's back. It's the one I mentioned before where Dallas and Ripley are talking, and kind of the one where Parker and Brett are talking in the underground area because they're basically shit talking how they never have to, they always have to go under and no one else has to follow them. Those are the only two instances.
Vex, I 100% agree with you. We talked about this at the beginning of the stream. I do think that the mix of analog and futuristic elements is literally how we have to go, dude. I think nuclear codes are still 100% analog. I don't know if they've gone to digital at all because of you can easily hack those. Yeah, I think nuclear footballs that's what they call it, the football.
Yep, they call it a football.
Yeah, those are.
That used to confuse the shit out of me when I was younger and I was playing Metal Gear Solid 2. They were like, a football, and then they have a briefcase, and I was like, the hell, that's not a football. That's
Dark
not even
Hour's young American mind.
Like, that's not even a European football. That's neither American nor European football. That's a briefcase, goddammit.
Interface 2037 ready for inquiry. Request for clarification on science inability to neutralize the alien. Unable to clarify. Request enhancement. No further enhancement. Special order 937 for the science officer's eyes only, which is priority 1, ensure return of organism for analysis. All other considerations secondary. Crew expendable. And I don't think I have the slide. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I was about to say Ash just does like a weird jump scare, which it actually got me. This is the only jump scare that got me. Just seeing his face over there.
It is creepy because you don't even hear the door open or anything.
Somebody had did I star it? No, I missed it. Somebody said in the chat, like, how does he get in without making noise? I mean, he's an android.
Yeah, he's an android.
He can control how strong his steps are.
It's more so the door makes a sound when it opens.
I don't think she closed it though, did she? I
No,
can't.
she
thought
did.
she did.
Wait, I have the slide of her. Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, it is closed.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait.
you're right.
Yeah. Wait, is it closed? Wait,
No,
let me-
that
let me
might be.
double
No,
check.
I can't tell. That's the. Yeah, it's closed. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I noticed when I watched it earlier.
Rule of creep.
The rule of creep.
Also, just little nitpick. Can we go back one slide?
Yeah, sure. This one.
Shouldn't ensure be ensure ENSURE?
Yeah, I
true.
think that. Yeah, that's like insurance. Right? No,
Yeah,
no.
'cause
That's
No.
correct then. No. To insure is to INSURE. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. You
No.
were insured.
No, it's ensure.
Sure.
Yeah, it should be ensure because
Yeah, it should be ensure. EN.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Ensure. Make certain that something will occur or be the case. That's the definition, bro.
somehow I missed this when I watched
Well,
it earlier. but when I saw the
insure
slide, you
means
just
to
put it up,
protect
I was
against
like, oh.
loss, damage, or injury. So I guess technically either one could apply
Typo.
to this.
Yeah, movie
Yeah.
ruined 0 to 10. Eject it.
Yeah, dude.
All
right.
Yeah, technically either one could kind of apply here because it's like to protect against loss, to insure. So like that also applies to this. They don't want to lose it.
Maybe.
So.
All right, Vex. Take care, man. Have a great Saturday. Have a great rest of your Saturday, and make sure to watch a horror movie before you fall asleep. There you go, man. That's my wish to you. Yeah, spelling mistake, argument ruined. That's it. Done.
I mean, you want me to throw an even worse one in there? What if they wanted to use Assure, ASSURE?
Oh Jesus!
God.
It's done. Never let Ridley Scott cook again, dude. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, of course, we have a jump scare from him, and this is where he starts sweating yogurt. So
Sure.
there are
We'll call it
moments
yogurt.
before where he kind of wipes his sweat, and they make sure that since he is in darkness, you don't really see that he's wiping it off because he doesn't look at the camera as well whenever he does it. He looks away from the camera, which is a pretty interesting detail. Several times it happens in the movie. Mad of milk.
That combined with him drinking all that milk, you don't really think of it much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I never even realized that.
I always just assumed that it wasn't actually milk. He was drinking some sort of fluid.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Me too,
right.
yeah.
Me too. I don't think it's really milk. I just don't know what else to.
I would have thought it was like high protein weird fluid that they just drink
I
because
think it's
water.
it's like lubrication fluid. It's just...
Yeah, and so he basically
keep 'em
assaults Ripley after she learns what Mother says, and there you go. There's the censorship comes.
That's some fantastic censoring.
Yeah, that's
dude. Yeah, dude. I censored the shit out of this. I was like, "Fuck it." There it is. Boom.
I
No
love
asking
I
for
love the
these
fact
things.
that we somehow made a stamp that just fits perfectly more often than not in those situations.
That's true. Yeah, your head and my head just covers everything. It's pretty good. And so yeah, so as she's getting assaulted by Ash, Parker and Lambert come in and they kind of wrestle Ash away from her. And this is where we kind of get one of the coolest decapitation. Well, 90%.
No,
It's
nearly headless Ash. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
there
was
you go.
gonna
Nearly
mention that
headless Ash
reference.
decapitation.
Decapitation by fire extinguisher.
Yeah, it's a whack. So good.
He's a goddamn android.
Yeah, dude.
I have that clip in the backstage if you want to play it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, wait, you added Dark Hour.
Oh, okay.
Robot. Ash is a goddamn robot.
Oh, goddamn robot. That's it. Yeah.
You see, he is a robot, dude. It's a robot. So, for those of you who've seen The World's End, a robot is also a slave. There it is.
The Ash death grip, which anybody who's I always equate it to the Cowboy Bebop movie. Anybody's ever seen that when the guy is
knocking on heaven's door.
Yeah, when he's fighting him and he heart punches him and twists his hand. It's very similar to this.
Dude, I never knew you liked the Cowboy Bebop movie.
I like Cowboy Bebop.
Fuck yeah, dude. Cowboy Bebop is the shit.
Not the Netflix show, but
Oh boy, that's something I need to finish breaking down too.
Dude, I can't believe you actually watched
wasn't that like
that.
2 years ago? Like,
Hey, I've got a lot of projects on the go.
I think you can
So,
just let
yeah.
that one go at this point.
There he is, nearly headless Ash, and of course, he is a squirter, ladies and gentlemen. So Oh yeah,
Yeah, this is probably a clip that should have been censored too. Just saying.
Oh yeah, and look at it. It looks fun. So you can tell that it's a prop at the beginning, but once they stick his head down, you really do see the cut where they start using Ian Holmes' actual head that's just in the table.
Yeah, it's very obvious.
Really obvious, actually.
They use that same technique again in Aliens, and Alien 3, I believe, as well, with Bishop.
Yep, it's true. Yeah, if it
with Bishop, though, it's his whole torso. It's not just the head, but it's a similar technique.
And of course, they revive him, and this is where we basically learn that he had orders from the company, and that's where he says the line that the alien was a perfect organism. Oh my, yeah. So and the alien can't be defeated, and this is what we said before when Jill and I were talking about Ash, that basically admires the alien, and he admires its perfection. So, and then he just says, "Yeah, Godspeed, ladies and gentlemen. Good luck."
I do love that when he first comes back online, he basically just spits up like a pint of milk. Just like,
and so yeah, at this point, that it's kind of fucked. So Ash gets ashed, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead,
Jill.
Oh well, see what happens here. He's a little bit snarky. He's saying, you can't defeat this thing, but you have my sympathies. But he's being very sarcastic.
Yep.
And so you know why Parker burns him.
Yeah.
It's amazing that's what we all look like on the inside.
Oh yeah, dude. I look like a bunch of silicone on the inside, pretty much.
It is funny because like the actual skull portion here, I guess is what you would call it, doesn't really look the same shape as the actor's real head. It almost looks like a completely different person.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Different
dimensions, dude.
Different dimensions, like the brow structure is different, the nose size is different. It's just like that's just a skull they had sitting around that they used.
There you go. Nerd fact: all the androids in the films are named alphabetically: Ash, Bishop, Cole, and David. I never realized that.
I
What
wonder
the
if that
fuck
was
is Cole? Which one is Cole?
Yeah, which Cole is in the third movie? No, Resurrection.
Ah, dude, yeah, I forget about Resurrection, dude. I forget about the alien getting sucked out through a oh god.
Yeah, because there isn't a android in the third one that they just bring back Bishop.
They bring back Bishop.
Seconds.
Yep. Of course, this is the scene that I was talking about where the lighting is just absolute. I just think this is poor lighting. I don't think this adds to anything. I mean, you can't even see the black man, dude. Come on.
Oh, I didn't even notice he was in the scene.
You see, I literally tried to get the still where you could see like his eyes or his teeth to notice him. Like, no joke, dude. I couldn't.
I can only imagine. So I never really watched this. I'm sure when I watched it when I was younger, it was on VHS. But this seems like this must have been really hard to see on a VHS transfer.
Oh yeah, they probably were rough. They were really rough, probably. I just think this scene is the only one that has actual bad lighting. I don't know. Maybe the lighting guy was sick that day. So at this point they kind of talk about using the shuttle to leave since there's only Parker, Lambert, and Ripley left. So Parker and Lambert go to get the coolant for the shuttle, while Ripley goes to prep the shuttle basically. And so this is what they're doing. So they go in pairs. And went in a pair.
They go in one pair and then one person with a cat.
One pair and one person. Yeah, of course. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. French moment once again.
Classic horror movie idea to split up.
Now, here's my favorite part about this, and I'm sure I know we're not quite there yet, but could these two have been any more conspicuous? She's like tossing the coolant cans as loud as she possibly can into the hallway.
Yeah.
They're basically panicking.
Yeah, I get that, but it's like, come on.
That's true.
You're throwing metal cans onto a metal grate, and as basically not the thing that you're trying to avoid goes based on sound for the most part, because that's how it's been finding people.
Oh, there we go. It's Cal. No, Call. Not Cole.
Who cares? That movie.
I still don't know which one Call is actually. Yeah, I still don't remember which one. And I've seen.
There's a reason I didn't put Resurrection in the poll.
In the slate, yeah.
And
And
also
of
on the
course,
slate, I did. Yeah, it's not even. We have Aliens later this year. I haven't scheduled 3, but we might do 3.
yeah, dude, fuck it. I'll die before we do Prometheus, dude. Uh, so yeah, Ripley, of course, hears Jonesy meowing, and she goes to look for him because, yeah, dude, Jonesy is here. And it is interesting because Jonesy does survive because Ripley takes care of him, and it's kind of those heroic save the cat moments that was just put into this.
Yeah, because
Which,
that's a very common trope. Save the cat.
yeah, it's interesting actually. So yeah, she
There's
literally
that.
saves the cat.
There's that, and I don't think the alien
Well,
really
and
wants to kill the cat.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I would say it's not necessarily save the cat; it's save the animal, because it happens with dogs a lot too. Boomer will live is a great from Independence Day when Boomer survives. A
Oh
great,
yeah, it's true.
Like,
Yeah,
it's
Boomer
actually a pretty
survives a fucking
nuclear explosion.
I just remembered that. Yeah,
Everybody
I
knows.
literally have the shot playing in my mind right now, dude.
Well, everybody knows that when the nuclear holocaust happens, there will only be 2 things that survive: cockroaches and golden retrievers. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course, Lambert at this point gets attacked by Balaji Badejo in the Xenomorph costume, and yeah, it's just she as I said before, she just freezes. That's pretty much it. Fight or flight, froze. Pretty much it. And it's because of her that I blame her for Parker's death. To be honest, what do you guys think?
Yeah. But I also
Okay.
like how
Yeah, Parker tries to save her.
But I also like how they do have the different reactions where you have people trying to like either run away or fight back, and then she just freezes up.
Yep.
I mean, hers is probably the most natural reaction.
Yeah.
I especially because, of the way that it happens. Like, Parker looks down and sees it ahead of time. Like, oh shit, I gotta go help. She turns around and is like, fuck.
Shit.
Yeah,
That's
like,
pretty much it. Yeah, it's like I'm dead today. That's
this
pretty
is
much
the
it.
one moment that I don't really like the look, and I guess it's what we were talking about earlier with it being on a swivel, so to say, and like a I think they put it on I want to say that they put it on like a runner of some kind, but you can clearly see it's a person in a costume in these scenes because they stand perfectly upright, doesn't do any like slouch. It's like the one time I don't really like the look in this movie. I would say
in comparison to the final scene where you see it on the shuttle with Ripley, it's kind of
hunched
down.
over and yeah,
looks better. Of course, R.I.P. to Parker, R.I.P. to Lambert, and
might be the latest in a horror movie that the black guy ever survived to. By the way,
that's true.
Possibly.
It's breaking the usual 90s trope. That
yeah,
all the way back in 1979.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the tail suggestively slides between her legs and the shadow in this scene. Yes, it does.
Well, that is a theme. That is like an undercurrent of the film, the like body invasiveness. I don't want to say the word and get demonetized, but of this is that it permeates all aspects of the Xenomorph.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and of course, there she is dead. And I do like the fact that you don't really see the bodies in detail in this movie after the death of the comrades, because it does leave you. It leaves it up to imagination. Of course, this kind of gets ruined with the Aliens and the rest of the sequels. But at this point, it's pretty. You're kind of just thinking, what has it done with the body? Especially when Dallas dies, they specifically say it didn't leave any blood or anything. It's just like,
I'm gonna pull up the cocooning scene so that way you can.
Sure.
I'm gonna like do it in a way that I can't full screen it, but yeah, just.
Wait, are you there, or did I bug out?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. No, dude, because your voice disappeared quickly. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, I'm sorry.
So yeah. Well, just pull it up. I'll continue with the movie. So of course, at this point, Parker and Lambert are dead, and Ripley initiates the self-destruct sequence and heads for the shuttle. Now, this is a very interesting self-destruct sequence because you basically just can't stop it after 5 minutes. So it's T-minus 10 minutes. But after 5 minutes, if you want to revert back, you're fucked, basically. So it's pretty interesting. And she tries to make her way back to the shuttle, but encounters a xenomorph there. So she just heads back to try and stop the self-destruct sequence, which time has already passed, so she can't do it anymore. And
Also,
And she
somewhere
gets
around
it by.
this scene.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say
go ahead,
it's like 2 seconds she misses it by too.
Yeah, just somewhere around this scene, the alien does find Jonesy and just kind of looks at it curiously and doesn't do anything to
Yep.
it.
Yeah, it does. Now this is where I really, really enjoy her acting, Sigourney Weaver, because you can see that she's clearly just on the verge of tears, but she's fighting through it, and I think she manages to sell that really, really well. Wait, do they have instructions in French? Do they?
At the bottom, it looks like there's a bunch of other different languages down there.
Oh yeah, it is.
Nuclear.
Dude, it's on the right side. It's the last. Yeah, it's on the right side. It's
And this is actually a good
yeah.
point by Princess Fiona. Yeah, it's not actually like it's not a traditional self-destruct button. It's not like, oh, it's a system. They're actually like basically like destroying the engine, like this engine coolant. So
yeah,
something I wanted to mention too. I really like when she runs into the Xenomorph there, and you have the flashing lights and her like up against the wall, terrified and trying not to make any noise before she runs away. It is great.
Oh yeah, I think it's interesting because having strobing effects like that, it became a common trope in horror movies in, I would say, the early 2000s, so late 90s, early 2000s. I'd say really 94 till about 2005 was probably the worst era for horror, just because of the strobing light effects and the fact that they managed to nail it in this scene in 79, and they couldn't nail it in any other fucking horror movie during that period, still amazes me.
And that's right around when they people started figuring out just how prevalent epilepsy was when they started doing it way too much in the 90s.
Yeah, the strobing and all the smoke. Apparently, they had lots and lots of incense that was burning all of the time.
All right.
So I have the cocooning scene here, so we can pull that up.
All right.
Also, I like when she calls the computer a bitch.
Yes.
So I'm gonna let me just hold on. Let me.
It's Ellen Ripley's favorite.
I'm gonna put it without the audio, so that way it shouldn't eliminate my because I think if what happened before was I was clicking it and it eliminated my audio. That's why I got it. But let's try it without the audio.
No problem, dude. Yeah, I do love these close-up shots that we have of Ripley. I mean, yes, you took it out, bro. Yeah.
So
all right.
I'm just gonna go a little bit here.
This is towards the end of the movie?
Yeah, this is right around where we're at in the movie.
I think I've seen this scene also. Oh yeah, I have seen this scene. And then she burns him, right?
Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna play it like brief and like quick. Let me see. If
I have seen this scene.
Yeah, so he's like basically they're being turned into eggs.
Yep. Which is what they really do in the second movie.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Ooh,
yeah.
Right,
so that's the scene that we didn't have.
That
you skipped over. So.
All right. Let me put this back.
Him saying "kill me." I didn't have the audio, so.
So of course, love this. Absolutely love this close-up shot of Sigourney Weaver. I just think it looks so good with the blue and yellow hues. It's fantastic, especially with all the sweat. It's very rare to see. Well, today at least, I think it's very rare to see dirty characters, and I mean dirty as in they don't really emphasize sweat or something like that. You watch westerns from back then. I think it's because of the film, or if you watch like the fact that it was shot on film, or if you watch 4K restorations, everyone is really slimy and disgusting, but in a natural way. And I don't think that you have that today. Or maybe I could be mistaken, but what do you guys think?
Yeah, generally in a lot of modern movies, characters look way too immaculate for a lot of the situations they're in. It's pretty annoying.
It's really annoying. Actually.
Yeah, like there's no reason for these people to be like supermodels. They're space truckers.
Yeah.
It's true. And then, of course, she's heading back to the shuttle because you
I
still
think
need to-
this is exactly. I think this is the exact placement of where she finds the egg. Which is
Oh my God.
I can't remember off that because I just like I said I watched for this particular stream I watched the theatrical cut. Only because that was the one that I could more easily stream rather than setting up the DVD and stuff.
Furiosa. Brooks, do you mean that like Furiosa looks good, or it's an example of a modern movie looking dirty, or that it looks too clean for what it's supposed to be?
I think those movies look too clean for what they're supposed to be.
It's a good question. I haven't seen Furiosa.
Yeah, me neither, actually.
It's like, as long as it's going to sound, it's like dirty in a clean way. It's like strategically dirty, kind of. It doesn't look authentic. I think that's what.
Yeah. So of course, she makes it on the shuttle, and at this point, we don't see any Xenomorph. So it's all in the clear, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, we're about to witness a triple event explosion because, man, the ship blows up like 5 times. Jesus.
So if you look closely in the more upscaled versions of the movie, when she's walking onto the shuttle, you can see the Xenomorph like very briefly. It's one of those things that it kind of blends in with like the tubing and all that stuff. So
yeah,
like,
it does.
Her being in the rush that she's in wouldn't notice it. But because because we as the audience know where to look in further versions, you can see it.
Yeah. Is this happening because of the how the refinery works, the nuclear power? And
you mean the explosion?
Yeah, from the explosion. Why it explodes in 3 different bursts?
I always just assumed that they were doing it for effect. It really only blew up once. Like that's what I always
you wanted to say something?
Oh yeah, I didn't notice that detail you guys mentioned, but I do really like that you could see the alien in there if you know where to look in advance. I'm actually going to crack open the movie when we're done here and go to that scene to check that out.
It's very quick. It's like a panning shot, and if you look really quickly, you can see its head like sticking out.
Nice. Yeah, I love the detail that they even had it there way before it's actually going to like appear. You know.
Yeah, it's always great because you can look back at the film and see that level of detail, and not only that, but it's also putting you in the character's shoes where you're rushing with the character, you're focused on something else, and so you miss it. It's like, yep, exactly.
Well, it's also in the scene when Brett dies, if you don't know what you're looking for the first time, you're watching the director's cut, and they have the extended of him looking up, which I forgot to mention. It's hilarious that he's basically drinking like exhaust.
I don't know what water is. Yeah,
it's like standing under an air conditioner and drinking the water that comes out of it. That's basically what he was doing. But he looks up at all the chains swinging, and if you don't know what you're looking for the first time you see it, you don't notice it. Then the second time you're like, oh, the Xenomorph is right there. It's right above him, and he doesn't even see it.
Yeah,
it's hanging from the chains, just waiting for him to like not pay attention.
I think that's also a factor that they had in the design of the Nostromo and how all the tubing and stuff like that works. It is a prime environment for the alien to blend into, which is very interesting that they took that into consideration, because a lot of people would just oversee it and pretend that, oh yeah, the alien was there all along, but no, it really wasn't. You know what I mean? So, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to witness a I guess quadruple explosion. Oh, there it is. Oh, so Fiona says each of the 4 refinery towers has its own reactor. She pulled 4 control cores. Yes, she did.
Huh. There it is.
Thank you, Fiona. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Princess Fiona.
Here, I'll just pull it up for you, Kritosis. I'll just pull up the image, and I'll show you.
Well, while you're pulling that up, ladies and gentlemen, let it blow, I guess.
2, 1.
Yeah, she really does. She really loves using the word bitch, man.
So like right there, T-minus 1 minute. So see,
Yeah.
a quick panning shot. You could, if you are paying attention, you could see the head.
That's great.
Where the fuck? Oh, yeah, I see it.
Yeah, it's specifically done in a way that you can't really like. You wouldn't notice it. It just looks like part of the.
Yeah, it's
Of
under
the
that
set.
red, the red thing,
Mhm.
right? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you really don't see until like a lot of people didn't notice it until later.
All right.
Right. A lot of people are just feeling the relief of thinking the alien's dead at this point.
Yeah.
Now everybody will always look every time they watch this movie. They're going to be like trying to like looking at that scene now.
In Aliens, when the xenomorphs come out of the walls and you realize they were up there in front of you the whole time, that was the coolest thing I ever saw in cinema up to that point. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it just shows you the level of camouflage that they can do.
Well, it's like the Queen does it too. The Queen, like she literally, I mean, obviously we're gonna do Aliens down the line and later this year, but like she literally walks right past the Queen's head. Like if you go back and watch that scene, she walks under the birthing canal, whatever that, like the tube thing, and where she walks then looks back is right where the Queen is. So she walks right past. Like if the Queen was like really paying it like awake fully when it happened, she could have just hit her and killed her right there. Like
Jesus.
And when we do Aliens in the future, I'll point out that that's exactly what happened.
Oh yeah, dude. Tell me when, and then I'll add the still for it.
Well, you'll have. I guarantee you'll have it because it's the sequence.
Yeah.
It's the sequence where right when she meets it. So.
Smilek says the whole ship has these pipes and backgrounds that look semi-organic. It's perfect design.
Yep. Oh, there it is. Melvin, hi, you're back, man. That explosion was the first time we've seen the Praxis effect made famous in Star Trek 6.
I was thinking about that. I was thinking of the explosion of Praxis, the destruction.
I don't know. I've never seen an episode of Star Trek in my life.
Oh,
that was a movie.
I will. I'll probably. I need to go through all of the entirety of Star Trek, man. I need to do it. I'll chip away slowly at it.
Go production order. Start with Captain Kirk.
All right, I'll do that. So of course,
Jill is who I would go to with any suggestions on Star Trek automatically.
Oh yeah. So of course, Jonesy's alive, ladies and gentlemen. Sigourney Weaver and undies, ladies and gentlemen. Smilex, you can put your hand lotion away. All right, please. Now, of course, at this point, all's well that ends well. Or, is that really what's going to happen? But no, coming out from the tubing. Of course, yeah, here's where you can see the camouflage with the tubing. Looks pretty good. And then we have Sigourney Weaver. There it is, Smilex. This shot is for you, of course. This shot is for you, dude. So she manages to get behind the at the place where the spacesuit is, which is kind of lucky.
It's like an airlock for the spacesuits.
Yeah, basically. So that's where she aims to go, and of course.
Actually, I've always kind of looked at it as she ended up there by accident. Like she didn't. She just went to the like furthest point and then realized where she was. And it's very. I love when that happens in a movie when it's like the Predator sequence when the Predator walks away from his trap and then he goes underneath the counterweight and it just happens to work out anyway. I love those kind of like, oh well, this still worked out moments.
You horny motherfuckers in the chat, dude.
Well, I do know that there was actually some with this particular sequence. And I remember that the production company really tried to push back on this scene because of grooming habits of Sigourney Weaver and how you could Yeah, she wasn't exactly trimmed and shaved the way they wanted, and you could see.
Oh, yeah, you could see it. Yep. I mean, dude, it was the late.
So they really pushed back and almost were like they almost canned the like part of the scene because of that. They were worried about a few things, the image, and actually they were a little worried about the rating too.
All right. Yeah, maybe that could fuck up the rating.
Yeah, I don't think it did because I think they got away with it mostly because of the technology wasn't good enough to see it that well yet.
So like it would have been bumped from rated R to what, NC-17, which is kind of
I think that's what if I recall correctly. That was one. Yeah, that's a death sentence. They would have had to go back and trim it completely, both literally and figuratively.
uh, man, Sech, yeah, dude, don't worry. We have a re-upload channel just for that.
And I'm gonna leave this on the channel for probably about like 48 hours or so. I'm not taking down my
yeah,
live
till
stream just quickly
Monday,
now.
dude. Yeah, till Monday. Just so of course, I'll put the re-upload channel in the chat right now. So for those of you who don't know, we don't keep our live streams on our channel. This is the re-upload channel. We also upload like clips from the channel, from the live streams as well. So yeah. Wait, what?
No, there isn't.
The space axe on the right. Never noticed. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, I see.
Yeah,
it.
it's like a fire axe. It's like a little like fire axe almost.
Dude,
Also,
what the
hey,
fuck are you
Seth.
talking about?
I'm trying. That's what I was trying to figure out. I don't see any. Why is this? Why is it we back to the to phalluses? Why are we back here?
Yeah, dude. So yeah, I have to switch because we are at
Kurtosis, what were you saying?
Oh, I was just saying hi to Seth. He's a friend of
Seth.
mine.
Oh, nice.
Hi, Sech. There we go. Everyone say hi.
Glad to have you in the chat. Hopefully, you'll come back for future shows, or either that, or you really just didn't like us.
Above the axe, the chords.
I think Brooksy is just fucking with us. Don't.
Yeah, Brooks. I can't see it, dude. I legitimately can't see it. No joke, man. I can't see it for real. I'm not even like for real. I must be blind for real, dude. Yeah, of course. Yeah, all right. I have to switch slides because, ladies and gentlemen, we have officially reached 100 slides. Now, of course, she puts on the suit, and she gets prepped for battle, basically, which is pretty cool. Now, wait, let me check if I have the clip. Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, F's in the chat. The Xenomorph is dead. It's about to die. All right, hey, calm down. Okay. F's in the chat for the Xenomorph.
The idea to sing "You Are My Lucky Star" was Sigourney's idea.
Oh, was there any particular reason she wanted to sing that song, or?
I don't know. I think she just decided to do it.
I'll look it up while we're watching the clip. Hold on.
That's a good question.
Let me play the clip, ladies and gentlemen.
Lucky.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. The Xenomorph is dead.
So, according to, I mean, this is only quick research. Obviously,
Mhm.
I don't have time to do a deep dive on it, but yeah, she pushed for it. It was actually very expensive to get the rights for her to do it, and Ridley Scott fought back. But it was that she believed that people in nervous situations tend to sing to stay calm. And I guess that was just the song she chose for it. It doesn't say anything about, like, because a couple people in the chat said the same thing I assumed, which was like for her daughter or something. But it doesn't say anything here about that.
Yeah, it was a fantastic idea. Honestly, liked it as a good way to ground her more in the situation of trying to cope with her fear. Yeah. I think it's also elevated by what I said before, the fact that you can see her really just, survival mode. She's on the verge of tears, but she's still there. She's still surviving, unlike Lambert, played by Veronica Cartwright, who just said.
Well, this is why it really works that Ripley is she uses her intelligence. She doesn't use her strength. She uses technology. Since she is weaker, and it shows how humans can overcome nature with our tech.
I think that is. I think that's what makes one of the many reasons, but one of the main reasons why Resurrection sucks is because they basically turn her into a superhuman, which takes away most of. First of all, I mean, the story had already run its course by that point, but by taking away the fragility that she has, because even in like Aliens, where she's more battle hardened and like toughened by the reality of the situation, she still is deathly afraid of things, and and avoids them at most of the cost.
Yeah. I think the story of Alien 3, well, Alien Cubed. I think the story of Alien Cubed could have worked. I just think that they kind of took a stupid approach to the story, which is kind of sad because I think it would have worked even if Ripley wasn't there. You know, it would have been a great horror movie in itself. But
So the third one, you have to watch the special edition of the director's cut. It's
I've seen that one.
The theatrical cut is basically unwatchable.
Yeah, I know, dude. David Fincher, man, thank God he made better things than Alien 3.
Yeah, that almost tanked his whole career.
Oh my God, dude! Can you imagine starting your career with?
And wasn't Resurrection Joss Whedon? I think.
I don't know.
It was
Maybe.
cigarettes, no ice cream.
Oh, dude.
That's Alien 3.
Yeah, Alien 3.
guns.
Oh, Alien 3 also had Ron Perlman, didn't it? Yeah, he was one of the prisoners.
Oh no, the screenplay was Joss Whedon, not the director.
Oh, okay.
For the either way.
Yeah, Resurrection was. I really think that it was supposed to be a comedy film. If you have your ending scene where the alien gets sucked out of
a hole in the wall.
Fucking hole in the wall, dude. That's why your alien gets sucked
Honestly,
out.
that's the one scene that I would say is actually in the spirit of Alien, because it's like very it's turns it on its ass with that one, but it's very body horror of him getting sucked out of this hole, and it's like there's a lot of body horror to it. It's just on.
The issue is how cartoonish it looks. That's the big problem. It looks like a skin suit that's just being sucked out. It's so, oh God. Yeah, I'll say this name because it's French. Jean-Pierre Jeunet directed.
Yeah, that was the director of the fourth. The screenplay was by Joss Whedon.
Yeah, if you're gonna watch Alien 4 with Benny Hill music, it works.
Maybe we'll do that. I think Benny Hill music is public domain. We might be able to pull that off for you guys.
So I've only seen the first 3.
Yeah, don't bother with anything after that. I mean, I'm hoping that Romulus is good.
No, I honestly, I would genuinely place my bets that Romulus will be fantastic because Fede Alvarez has a good track record. He did one of the best Evil Dead movies, which I think is one of the best horror reboots slash remakes slash reimagining ever. So I do think that if there's one person that would breathe life into the Alien franchise to like try and reinvent the wheel, I think it could be him for sure. And the fact that he also has practical stuff, I do think that means that the producers kind of give him carte blanche. So
I love that term.
There's hope.
Carte blanche.
Oh yeah, dude. I 100% believe the Alien Romulus will be a fantastic film. I believe it 100%.
I forgot. I did watch one of the newer ones. Which one's the one where the lady performs a C-section on herself?
That's Prometheus. I love that scene, and we only have a couple more slides. I love that scene because it's like this is a medical pod that's only for men. It's like, what the fuck does that even mean? Like, it's like perform C-section. We don't know what that is. Okay, remove foreign body from stomach. I just fucking get this thing out of me, dude.
Oh, dude, yeah, Prometheus is something else, man. And of course, Ripley is basically just giving the last captain's vlog, and she says that normally she has 6 weeks before she reaches, I think, Earth's system, and hopefully she gets picked up. And because of the sequel, we know that it's going to be a lot longer than 6 weeks, ladies and gentlemen. So she goes back to sleep, and she also puts Jonesy to sleep.
67 years or something like that.
I forget how long it actually is.
They say it in Aliens. It was actually
so long that her daughter we didn't know about is gone.
Yep.
Yeah. They actually, that was a question in Two Hoes Versus, the first one, and
yeah, we forgot about that shit.
And Lance got it wrong. He was really close, but he got it wrong.
And ladies and gentlemen, that was Alien. So here are a couple of behind-the-scenes images that I took from. Let me just make them a bit bigger. There we go. So that's Ridley Scott over there with Ash and, with Ian Holm and Sigourney Weaver, of course, in Mother. And on the right is the alien ship, which, as I was saying before, man, these dudes made hugely scaled sets practically. And the amount of artistry and detail that is in those huge sets is fantastic. I mean, just look at this, dude.
Yeah, the space jockey looks amazing.
I was close. It was I said 67. It was 57 years. Sorry.
I mean, just look at this, man. Back when people cared about high budget filmmaking. I mean, high budget. This was on a budget of 11 million, wasn't it?
And
Something like that, yeah.
and the actors were already so amazing, but the sets and the environment that they were put in were so immersive that I forget which one of them said they had to visit the set off hours just to get used to it, to feel like he's actually been there for a while, because he didn't want to be on camera looking like he's in awe of what he's seen.
Yeah.
Look at that. I'm gonna get like a soundboard, and I want to get Brownie to give me a look at that clip. But it's funny because for years ago, I just go back to that slide one more time. For years, there was so much speculation about the space jockey and what the hell this device is that he was in, because it's at first when you see him coming in, it's like, oh, it's a telescope or some sort of gun, and then you realize what, it's not even, it's facing a wall. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And for a long time, people just kind of, that was one of the people's favorite thing to do, was kind of debate about the space jockey. I know there was some really weird, and I'm not going to say some of them, but there was some really weird theories about his anatomy. If you want to go out and look at it.
What the fuck?
Where does he start and the machinery begin?
Yeah, there was that, and there was some auto fellatio kind of concepts that people had thrown around, and all these weird things, and then eventually, obviously, Prometheus came out and debunked a lot of the theories. But
only if you take it as canon.
Yeah, which
you shouldn't.
You shouldn't.
You really shouldn't, man. Drinking black goo to poison people. I don't know what the fuck was going on in Prometheus, dude.
Yeah,
that movie has so many problems. I only saw it once in theaters, but it still bugs me to this day that the guy that was afraid of running into aliens runs into an alien and he starts like, oh, look at this thing. I'm going to put my face right up close to it.
Yeah, it's amazing when really smart people do dumb things in movies.
Dude, I remember I went to the theater with my dad when Prometheus came out, and Prometheus was coming out of the it was in cinemas at the same time as Ice Age Continental Drift. So my dad went to go watch Prometheus. My sister went to go watch The Proposal, which is that Ryan Reynolds movie, and I went to watch Ice Age. Should have seen my dad's face coming out of the theater from Prometheus. He looked like he went to war, dude. He was like, "What the fuck was that?"
The irony is that the Proposal is the best movie of those three. Nothing ever tops the scene in The Proposal when they're dancing around the fire, to the window, to the wall. It's Betty White.
Yeah. We do have some questions in the chat. Wait, I gotta find it. So yeah, Princess Fiona, can anyone tell me what has happened in the last 25 years to make you think Romulus is going to be any good? Just give me one thing, a single reason. I said before, Fede Alvarez is my reason. My reason isn't the franchise of Alien in general. My reason is who is behind the movie. So I have confidence in Fede Alvarez. He managed to revive Evil Dead in 2013. As I said before, one of the best horror reboots / reimaginings. And I do think that he can do it with Alien as well. And also the fact that we've seen the sets that they've been doing practical instead of fully CGI. The fact that Ridley Scott is minimally involved after all of his nonsense shit. And the fact that they've also said that they want to try and move away and do their own thing instead of trying to be shoehorned into what Ridley has already done with Covenant, Prometheus, etc. So I do think the fact that they're trying to tell their own story is pretty good. The actors also look better because, let's face it, Covenant had that weird discount Ripley-looking woman. That was
also
bad.
Covenant was going for, if I recall correctly, they were going for like a resort, so everybody was just like all like vacation.
Yeah,
looking
kind of. That was it. So yeah, I mean, the Alien franchise in itself, I don't have confidence in. I just have confidence behind the person that is involved in Romulus.
I think one of the problems with the Alien franchise was I don't think it was ever really intended to be a franchise.
No,
I think it was. I think it was really meant to be a self-contained film. Hence the reason why you had the egg being created from the people that they captured, and because of that, you had a genius, or at least the time he was a genius. Now he's done some dumb shit, but with James Cameron, who was able to look at it and go, okay, what can we kind of mold to a different story? And then every time they got progressively further away, building out this world, it made less and less sense.
Yep.
And it became worse and worse and worse as it went along. And I think that's one of the main problems is it was turning. It's kind of the same problem I think Terminator has, is that the further away from the core story you get, the harder it becomes to actually make it work, make it good, make it make sense. And we have shitty writers trying to do the hardest part.
Yep.
So
I agree. Another one from Sech. Well, the best part about the movie was no one expected a no-name like Sigourney to be the heroine. They expected the captain, who was an established name in cinema, to be the hero. Yeah, Tom Skerritt was, I mean, pretty big at that time.
Yeah.
So when he gets killed in the vent, it is a huge shock to everyone. I agree. I said this at the beginning of the stream. It does take that final girl trope before the trope was even kind of created at that time. Because Texas Chainsaw
it was created,
74,
but
right?
it hadn't been bludgeoned to death yet.
Yeah, when was Texas Chainsaw? I think it was 74. If I
It was
remember
like the
correctly.
mid 70s.
It was definitely an influence. That was another influence. For this.
Yes, 74 was a Texas Chainsaw. Texas Chainsaw is basically the blueprint for all modern slasher.
It's a progenitor of a lot of the tropes.
So the fact that it did take that, and the fact that it doesn't focus on the Ripley character as much at the beginning, and then it just slowly shoves her into the spotlight, I think it's a great man. I got lost in the chat, dude. Oh my god.
It's okay. I actually had one that I highlighted for Cortosis specifically.
Is Freddy writing the script? Yes, he is, Fiona. The last 3 Freddy Alvarez movies were not good. Let me look up what he did before, because the last movie I remember him directing was Don't Breathe was good. I don't know if he directed that. Go ahead, Dark Hour.
Being an asthmatic, Don't Breathe was just my childhood. So. So this one was from Brooksy, who was talking about the fact that in Prometheus, the guy who's making the maps of the cave gets lost with his technology. Like it's just the whole.
I forgot about that part entirely. I might have to rewatch that movie at some point just to remind myself.
Eventually,
of how bad
what's going to end up happening with this show? We will eventually have to watch bad movies, and I keep warning Uninspired this. Like, eventually, we're going to have to reach into these bad movies. And one of my favorite lines in that movie, because it's so random, it's that same guy who gets lost in the cave, and he has like the vaporizer in his like suit, and like the other guy goes, "Is that tobacco?" And he's like, "Yeah, tobacco." Ha! And it's like, what the fuck? People don't talk like this. Like, what are you?
So Fiona, just to go on your point of Fede Alvarez, I mean, he made Evil Dead great, Don't Breathe great, Girl in the Spider's Web questionable. However, it is from source material, so even if he wrote it, he was still a co-writer basically with Stephen Knight as well. Which Stephen Knight, I always forget if it's the good one or the bad one. It's kind of like the Anderson dudes. I forget which one is the good one and the bad one. Don't Breathe 2, he wrote it. I admit that is shit. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022, one of the worst horror movies I have ever seen. Thankfully, he only gave the story, which I think the story is serviceable in terms of what they wanted to do. However, the writing itself was fucking garbage. So I still do believe in him for Alien Romulus, man. I still do believe in him for Alien Romulus. But yeah, I can understand if you are hesitant. But I will be sad if Alien Romulus sucks, especially coming from Fede Alvarez. But I don't think that anyone will take it as a big loss, because a lot of people consider the Alien franchise just dead at this point. And that is my question to you guys. Kurtosis, do you consider the Alien franchise dead?
I mean, kinda. It's one of those series that
cop out
franchises that shouldn't be a franchise, where it's like, yeah, 2 movies are good. I've only seen the first 2 and Prometheus. But like, you guys related it to Terminator earlier, and it's the same thing. 2 movies. Second one, bit of a stretch, but it's good enough where it's like, yeah, I'll give it a pass. The rest of them, toss them. Get rid of them. Not everything needs to be a franchise. You can have a standalone or 2 movies that are really good and just leave it. I don't know why. I mean, I know why, money, but I don't know why they insist on keep going back to old classics to add in 5 sequels that we don't need.
Yep. What about you, Jill? Do you think that the Alien franchise is dead, or do you think that we have hope in another Alien versus Predator movie?
Oh, well, I always
Don't
want
even
to
bring up
have.
that shit.
I always want to have some good science fiction, so I hope it's going to be good. I'm gonna see it and check it out. Alien is probably maybe not dead. Maybe it's in hypersleep. Ripley and the cat are still sleeping, and maybe we'll get lucky with this new movie. I don't know.
I want Alien versus Kramer.
Just wanted to highlight these last BTS images of the helmets with them in the suits on set, and of course the scale of the miniatures, which is pretty cool again. Just man.
Yeah.
As for me, when it comes to, I think that Alien is in a very strange place. I think
Mhm.
as a film franchise, it is dead. Most of its there's still some duds, but most of its extra stuff. The comics was if you read the original Dark Horse comics, really good. Some of a decent number of the games are actually pretty good. Like Alien Isolation, fantastic game. It's a really good world to explore with other things. It's just as a film and trying to sequel off of the specifics of the film, it doesn't work as well. So that's where I think it is. It's that it does better in the with these tertiary projects, so to say.
None of these were originally meant to be franchises. They didn't even have them. There were a few movie series and that was it. Now they try to make everything into a franchise, which is why I salute especially horror franchises like Evil Dead, where they managed to keep that longevity, but they kept reinventing themselves with every single outing. I mean, you watch the first Evil Dead movie, you're happy. Second Evil Dead movie, probably one of the best horror movies ever made. Third one, Army of Darkness, one of the best comedies ever made.
Yeah, that one's awesome. I love that
Mhm.
one.
And then you watch the remake. The remake is also incredible. Ash versus Evil Dead are 3 seasons of absolute must-watch goodness if you're an Evil Dead fan. And then Evil Dead Rise recently as well is a pretty good movie. So it's just sad to see how some franchises just die because there's a lack of passion. But if you continue to reinvent the wheel, I do think that there's something to pull out of, but you still have to know when to. Oh God! You still have to know when to stop.
If you just try to recreate what worked before over and over again, eventually it fizzles out. And instead of filmmakers need to be risky, they need to take risks to make something new.
Yep, I totally agree.
For us to get more classics.
And yeah, I guess that was it for Alien. I kept this BTS shot up on the screen because man, it just looks fucking fantastic. It's magnificent. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Alien. So I guess what we should do right now is just last round table of what you guys thought about the movie. If you have anything you want to add, so I'll start with you, Kritosis.
Yeah, I really love this movie. The atmosphere, a lot of stuff we talked about during the stream, the characters, the lighting from aside from that one shot you showed, it's all very good. There's a couple things here and there where you could pick at a little bit, but overall it's really solid. And I'm really glad you guys invited me on this stream because I probably wouldn't have. It probably would have been a while before I watched it again, and I watched it today before the stream, and I'm glad I did.
That's kind of one of the things that this show has become. It's like because I always call uninspired my my little brother from a different African mother, and it's kind of like me being like, "Hey, little bro, watch this. This is a good movie. Watch this." And it's like,
yeah, dude, I do the same with Dark Hour. I'm just like, dude, watch this shit. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. It's like, oh
so
yeah.
It's kind of like that's kind of what the show was always intended to be, was hang out and talk about good stuff and eventually bad stuff when we get to it.
So, yeah, because I think me and you got to watch No Country for Old Men like for the first, like I watched it for the first time. You too, I think so. the first time or the first time in a while. I don't remember.
It was the first time ever when I watched it, actually.
Yeah, so
and
both of
there's-
us watched No Country for Old Men for the first time ever, just to do a stream for this.
It was one of those movies that had been
Nice.
sitting on my to watch list for like 15 years.
Same.
It's like-
But yeah, dude, Kretosis, man, thank you for coming on. It's an absolute pleasure, dude. Every
Thank you for
time.
inviting me. I
you'll,
appreciate
be,
it.
and you'll be back. Don't worry. I probably already have you on the schedule for like 2027 or something.
Yeah.
Jill, what about you? Any last
Wow.
thoughts on the movie?
You plan ahead.
No,
Thank you.
that's a joke. I start building a schedule for a year out. I don't actually start finalizing anything until a few months
Dude,
out.
you literally have a schedule for like 2025 to 2026, man.
Yes, but that's being altered all the time. It's me trying to figure out what works.
Yep, that's true.
He called you out there. There you go. So
Well,
thank you so much for inviting
I
me.
haven't forwarded that schedule to anybody. Go ahead, Jill.
Yes, also I also wanted to thank you for inviting me today. It's just wonderful to go through the best of science fiction and to remember how good storytelling is done and how great film is still possible if we look at these classic movies and maybe bring some of these classic techniques back, even though we have technology that makes some of the effects that were done easier. Maybe it's worth it to go back and take the time to do things right. And
Yeah.
I love this movie also because Ripley uses her intelligence, so the writing, obviously, and Jonesy, who also uses his instincts in the same way as Ripley.
Mhm.
So, it's a wonderful film.
Jones is the most realistic character. Every time they find him, he hisses and scratches at them. He's like, ah, get away from me.
Like, yeah, fuck off, dude. The alien is gonna find me. You're gonna give away my hiding spot, man. No, dude,
Yeah,
but,
he's so mad at Brett. Yeah, definitely.
but
and-
Jill, thanks for coming on.
You're welcome. Yes, this is great. I had a great time. Thank you.
It's
Well,
our
and we'll
pleasure.
have you on again in the near future. Like I said,
Oh, yeah.
I'm building out schedules. I'm always doing. I treat it like a hobby. I'm just like, what movies can I get into this year? What can I do this
That's
time?
true.
It's very soothing to sit there and just schedule things. It's a strange habit I've formed.
So before I move on to Dark Hour and before we go on to the plug your shit segment, I did start some comments from Princess Fiona about some ship lore. So in Alien 3, the USCSS Patna is named after the ship in Conrad's novel Lord Jim. Now, of course, we also have this. The early names for the Nostromo were Snark and Leviathan. Yeah, I could see Leviathan. I think it's become, I don't know. It kind of feels like a common ship name now whenever people
Snark I don't think Snark would have worked. I think that's
No, yes.
the last survivor of the Snark doesn't sound so good.
Nostromo is a town in Italy. Both Nostrum and Sulaco are allegorical names from Joseph Conrad books. Nostromo means shipmate. There you go. Then Sulaco is the
Sulaco.
fictional Sulaco
Yeah.
is the fictional town in the book. And the last one is, so the allegory is thus: Nostromo is the tragic story of a sailor who is used as an expendable tool by a powerful mining company in the fictional town of Sulaco.
Oh.
Thank you, Fiona. Yeah,
Fiona's a great asset to the chat.
yeah, we love you, Fiona.
It is amazing.
Of course, yeah, let me just do this. So Dark Hour, man, your last thoughts about the movie?
So most of everything was said. I've always loved both this and the second one, and I'm not as on the fence with this as I am with Terminator. Like Terminator, I go back and forth all the time. Which one's better? Aliens is my preferred, but I still love this one. I love the world building that they ended up doing. That eventually, like I said, it doesn't necessarily translate so well into a franchise, but I like the technology that they use. I love the aesthetics of it. There's not really much that I can say more that I've already said. So I'm just,
Yeah,
Because what you really want is the pulse rifle.
yes,
yeah.
we will get the pulse rifle. Come November, pulse rifle. 2 hosts.
There you go. Nostromo is not a town in Italy. I mistyped that. The rest is good. Thank you, Fiona. And Jama, dude, yeah, you fucking missed the show, man. Where the hell were you, man?
That's okay. We were planning on starting over.
Oh.
Actually, Platoon's coming in a minute.
Yeah, dude, there we go. Let me pull up the first slide. Here, Jama, we're restarting just for you. We've got another 3 hours to go. All right, dude. All right, you're VVIP this time, okay? So yeah, moral of the story is also follow the fucking protocol. Good point. So
this time we're doing a live line reading of the entire movie.
Are we up to pod racing yet? I'm assuming it's a reference to Brownie's stream.
Brown, yeah. All right, so ladies and gentlemen,
yeah, if Brown is coming, I want to redo it.
Oh yeah, for sure. So ladies and gentlemen, it is time to plug your shit. You know what that means. It is time to let the people know what you're doing, what you have done, or what you are going to do, basically. So Jill, let the people know where they can find you and what you've got coming up next.
It's very simple. My channel is my handle, Antiderivative Jill. I love to explore science fiction, TV, and film, but I'll look at some other stuff too. I've done some other fantasy stuff and other kinds of fun stuff. I do also a few gaming streams. On Tuesdays right now, I'm exploring Star Trek Continues. I'll be wrapping that up in a couple of weeks because it's 2 episodes per week. And I'll be reviewing For All Mankind next.
Nice.
On Fridays, I don't know. I never know what I'm going to do. Maybe some kind of movie. Last Friday, I reviewed Redemption, the Star Trek Next Generation episode, and that was a ton of fun. But I'm not sure this Friday. I think it's just going to be a regular shore leave. So sometimes I just have an open topic. Talk about whatever you want.
Jill has some really awesome Star Trek coverage whenever she does it. So if Star Trek's your thing, she's awesome to check out.
Yep.
Yes. 100%. Please check me out.
So everyone's links are in the description. I'm also posting them out in the chat right now. So please do check out Jill. She makes fantastic stuff. She even beat me to a time crime stream, man. I'm so glad that you actually talked about that movie because a lot of people just sleep on it for some reason. I don't even know why. It's such a fantastic time travel movie.
I thought it was amazing. It was almost a perfect time travel movie.
Yeah, it's literally my next video. Like it's on time crimes.
It's a perfect example of a closed loop, but more of a self-determination.
Yep. Ladies and gentlemen in the chat, if you have not seen Time Crimes, please do watch it. It is a Spanish movie. The original title is called Los Cronocrímenes. It's from 2007. It's one of the best time travel movies you'll probably ever see. It's also a great, let's say pseudo horror type of movie. So yeah, just watch it.
I can't take full credit for the fact that I covered it. I asked one of my co-hosts to pick a movie, so it was thanks to Pop Culture Curator that I covered that.
Awesome. Well, shout out to Pop Culture Curator, man. Great selection. Now, Kretosis, it is time to plug your shit, my man. Let the people know what you are doing, what you have done, and what you are going to do.
Yeah, my channel is Kretosis, as it's spelled on screen there. I typically do more long-form videos breaking down mostly games so far, but I'm going to be doing TV shows and movies and stuff. I'm currently working on a breakdown of the Fallout show, which I hated. But yeah, I've done other things like an analysis of Fallout 4, breakdown of Saints Row 2022 and Amnesia Rebirth. I'm also working on a Starfield analysis, which I hope to get done this year, maybe.
Hell yeah, man. Dude, I swallow like long-form gaming content like there's no tomorrow.
The amount of clipping in this particular episode of things that are going to be said, you have no idea.
Dude. But yeah, if anyone
True Pop, if you're still out there, man, you have a gold mine worth of shit to fuck with.
Ladies and gentlemen in the chat, if you have not checked out Kretosis' channel, please do. He makes fantastic videos, especially if you're into into gaming content. And is Trip finished with Ghost of Tsushima yet? No, I am at Act 2. And if we weren't doing the stream today, I probably would have played since I got home. But Alien calls.
Little Platoon was going to play Ghost of Tsushima, but then he was like, "It's got sushi in it, so I'm not interested."
So yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm at Act 2. I'm kind of exploring the world a lot. So I'm basically doing every single side mission before I hop into the main mission. So I'm like powered up as shit right now.
Yeah, you're doing the typical RPG thing.
Basically, yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, please do subscribe to Kretosis. Please do subscribe to Anti-Derivative Chill if you have not. Their channels are definitely worth a look. And of course, don't forget that we also had Platoon on there. So if you're not subscribed to Platoon, please do subscribe to him. All the links are in the description. We also have the re-upload channel that is in the description that I'll plug out right now. And while I'm doing that, Dark Hour, it is time to plug your shit, my man.
So you've probably seen that I've slowed down on my output recently for videos. A few reasons. One, I got a little burned out on reviews, so I'm trying to. It's reviews, especially with the crap that's been coming out this year. It was rough. So I'm kind of reevaluating the style I'm going to do, leaning probably toward more, not fully long form, but a slightly longer form and more research analysis based, which has been interesting for a few topics. But I've also started doing video game streams myself, Resident Evil specifically. So if you want to go watch me die like 35 times in Resident Evil 3,
you want to go watch Dark Hour get angry at Nemesis, dude.
Oh my god, it's great. I do want to thank everyone. I'm actually going to start my cam for this, so I want to, everyone was really good in the chat today.
Oh my god,
I like to say this with my face on me, but yeah, there was a lot of super chats. Everyone was fantastic today. It's been a rough go for 6 months for me, and this show always helps me maintain my sanity. Some of you know I lost my job back in December. Things are getting better though, which is good. And I'm not going to be slowing down on production of the show, but that's another reason why I might be slowing down on my pre-made videos is because my schedule will be a little less open in the near future. But I will still be making content, and I will still be scheduling people as best the best panels I can put together for all of these shows. I have our next one is actually going to be Raiders of the Lost Ark over on Uninspired's channel, which also has Platoon, and Mr. Brown Alliance is going to be making a appearance on that one with hopefully Mega Geek, assuming his schedule works. And but yeah, I just want to thank everybody for your super chats and your support today.
Yeah, dude. Massive thanks to everyone as well. Ladies and gentlemen, you hear to hear it first from Dark Hour, of course. Yeah, I guess it's time for me to plug my shit. Me once again, thank you guys for all watching. I mean, we had about 50 people in the chat. Watching on StreamYard, watching here on Twitter, on I think Kick as well. Was it Kick? Yeah, it's Kick.
Yeah, Kick. I've started using. I don't think anybody watches over there, so it's still such a new channel.
Who cares? That one person watching on Kick, we love you too, man.
I didn't know Kick. I don't even know what that is. That's a new platform.
That's like Twitch, but not providing with like junior porn. It's not just like random women just being like, "Oh, I'm playing video games, but you can't see I'm naked under here."
Well, okay, I see now. Yeah, preschool OnlyFans.
Yeah, it's basically Kick is Twitch when they had standards, from what I've heard.
A bit. I mean, I guess. Yeah, I mean, in terms of me, I'm kind of like Dark Hour at this point where, as you guys may have known, I was unemployed for a couple of months. I got my job. Well, I got a job. I actually validated my trial period for my job. My boss is really happy about me, so that's pretty good. I've been working for about a month now. It's fantastic. I love the job that I'm doing. I'm happy. So also, in terms of what I'm doing in terms of videos, I'm trying to pump out about a video a month max. So they're going to be more, they're going to be bulkier videos with more research involved, kind of like what Dark Hour is doing as well, just because I don't think that I'll be able to provide a normal release rate, especially juggling two hosts and normal life as well. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do as well. Next video is gonna be time crimes. It's probably coming out next month. Hopefully, there's gonna be a second video this month. Sorry, we are June. I forgot. Yeah, so this month I'll probably have 2 videos. Time crimes is number 1 priority, and yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for me, man. But once again, massive thank you to our 2 panelists. Kritosis, thank you. Anti-Derivative Jill, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Platoon.
And thank you,
It
Platoon,
was
as well.
mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's our pleasure, man. It's our pleasure. And of course, massive thank you to everyone in the chat. You guys are fucking fantastic today. Thank you to everyone who sent in super chats as well. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
So I'll lead us out then.
All right. See you, everyone.